The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 324. We are live, as always, on YouTube, streaming to over 150 countries worldwide. If you're out there in the live chat, please say something. We do not know that you're out there unless you do. If you want to text into the show, yes, you can text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates at Aegis Gun Care. That number is 530-364-4678. And go check out aegisguncare.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in the darkness and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I could probably talk you through some stuff. More important, I could probably be a decent ear and let maybe at least listen to what you have to say and help you along the way. If you are looking for someone that gets you towards medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this world. You have, you got a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So who's open a pecan? Cool. Anyways, check out the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255, the Veteran Crisis Hotline. We are spotlighting, as always, United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title of United States Marine, see the website, marines.com. And as always, we're a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-2A podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. Let's get this off of my ugly mug and say hello to the crew. The crew, how do I put this? The merry band of idiots. We'll just call it that. And go with there. Real quick, before we say hello to them, let's go ahead and say hello to all of the YouTube channel members out there. We're not asking anyone to join or anything like that. If you happen to want to help support the channel, somewhere down below there is a join button. Click it, and it'll walk you through it. Gizzard Gary's out there. Hello, Gary. Chris from the 740 is pulling double duty. He's out there and in here. We'll say hello to him in just a second. Wes is out there. He says evening. Let's see, any more channel members? Holy cow, I got a buddy of mine off the X. Lance is out there. He said he thought this might be a cooking show. We're cooking up something for sure. There's no doubt about that. We're going to say hello to other people besides channel members, but She Fires is out there. Looking forward to seeing her at shot as well. Foxtrot 69 out there. Let's see, am I missing any channel members? Clovertax out there and in here. Unfortunately, he showed up. But I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for everyone that does support the channel. It means the world to me. Like I said, we're not asking for anyone to do that, but if you feel so inclined, I'll take $1 from you every month. I'm just kidding. No, it does help. It does help, especially when things like SHOT Show come up and everything else. Every little bit does help. So thank you very much. We're making so much money. We're making tens of dollars on YouTube every month. So it's what it is. Let's say hello to the merry band of idiots from the weirdest state in the union, the only state that has 4 letters and takes 2 people to spell it out. From the weird state of Ohio, we do have the sickly Chris from 740. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, thanks for the invite.
Man, you sound and look amazing.
Yeah.
You got the SHOT Show crud before going to SHOT Show.
Yeah, hopefully get it out of my system now.
Let's hope. There's all sorts of weird stuff you can pick up there, but maybe your immune system is building up at this point. Good to have you. And from Anderson Manufacturing, our good friend. What's up, Kyle? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, Trey? Thanks for having me on, as always.
As always, brother.
I love
no one needs an intro for you. Everyone knows who you are. You are the man, the myth, the legend. By the way, I'm digging it, bro. Like that's just about as thick of a beard as I've seen in a long. You're making Clover jealous in how thick that bad boy is.
It's coming in nice, coming in strong. It's this cold weather.
So, do you like product like natural berries or something? I mean, like
all natural, no products.
All natural, no products whatsoever.
Now I might have to tame it down a little bit for SHOT Show. Kind of get.
I think you should go like the Viking braid. That would be sweet.
Oh, little ponies.
I'm just.
Oh, you might have a surprise.
Hashtag Pony Express 2024. We'll get to that in a second. I know it's always great to have you on here. And the man who is living large in Lakerland, it looks like he's living in Arizona, but the way his colors are, he's definitely supporting LeBron and the Lakers, the purple and gold. From TCRT Targets, we got Kurt. What's up, bro?
Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going. Yeah, it's cold as hell, just like it is in Arizona. So it's cold as hell everywhere right now. And standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a ginger, my lord, and a flatbed Ford. What's up? From the Gun Owners of America, John, the ginger, soulless bastard. I should be a hype man for you, bro. I'm just saying.
You should. You should come at. Hold on, I gotta pull up the schedule.
Okay, I need for you to say something else because leaving it, you should come is not somewhere where I think we need to be going with this family.
Hype man, Thursday at 1 p.m. at the GOA booth for our GOA media meet and greet. Come and swing by and see all the State and the Second people. Kaylee and myself.
Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Thursday at 1 o'clock. Or anybody swing by. Everyone's like, I'd rather get lunch than see you guys. That's fine. I figure all of 3 people will show up. It's good.
I think I'm actually available then. I got to go see Kat sometime on Thursday, but I'm not sure what time it is. But I don't think it's at 1 o'clock. I wouldn't do that to her or myself. So I'm going to see her earlier in the morning.
Meet and greet at 1 o'clock at SHOT Show at the GOA booth. Just
Good
saying,
Lord.
on Thursday.
Good Lord. Okay. All right. We'll see what we can do. Yeah. Real quick, I do want to give you 2 minutes for the 2A. What's going on? We've had some news in the since we talked last on the air. A little bit of news in the 2A world.
Yeah,
could be incredible news for you guys, but I suspect your schedules and y'all are getting ready to get a little bit busier in the next 6 months. Just saying.
Yeah. So we're getting ready to get real busy. I can't really touch on the thing with the guy at the other 3-letter organization because
I can. Wade LaPierre resigned from the NRA effective January 31st. That said, maybe the best thing that's ever happened to the NRA. I think that they will probably have some rough times in the next year or so to reorganizing, which they need to do. But I do believe that is a really good spot for the Gun Owners of America because I think that for the first time, people that didn't know anything outside the NRA are going to recognize that there's a couple other organizations, obviously GOA probably being at the top of that list with FPC and SAF and all that. But I think GOA is structurally probably more prepared for that. I think it's a great thing for the NRA that he's gone. Hopefully they get rid of everybody and just start over. That's just my opinion. And I know you can't speak on that, but that's my opinion. I can't
speak on that behalf. We don't talk ill will of other organizations as much as I would. Yeah. So it's going to be a busy next couple months. Especially I should have finalized stuff by hopefully Friday. So we'll that'll be a big announcement probably next week before SHOT Show and all that. The lawyers just looked over everything, so we should be pretty good on that. We're fighting right now in California, so we've got big fights ahead of us there. A campus carry / open carry bill just went to the floor in Florida today, so we'll see how that goes, and hopefully we get some more wins for the 2A here real shortly.
Yeah. Little comments out there saying that I'd resign too if I had a $17 million parachute. Yeah. Let's be honest. The expense report that he had access to, he's taking a pay cut with $17 million. Let's just be honest. Just saying. Maybe not the cash, but he's not going to have access to that jet in those Italian suits that are just bought for him. So it's going to be a little bit different for him. I will say that he is, regardless of what he is, and he is a lot of things. Wayne LaPierre is not stupid. I'm sure he's got something already hooked up for down the road, but I don't really care because this is opening a door to reorganize the NRA, which they need to have done for the last probably 20 or 30 years, probably actually longer than that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I will say this. We saw a CEO of a company kind of shoot the bed yesterday with their post. So tomorrow we have a podcast with Jamin, the CEO of Palmetto State Armory, which is going to be a really good one. You'll get to hear about their backstory. And
did you ask him if he plans on taking over the world? Because it seems like that's what they want. They want to take over the world at this point.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. Just,
this one's going to be an interesting one. He says some things out loud, some things that a lot of people want to hear, especially the big one. It's freedom over profits is what he'll talk about that and everything. So go give that one a listen at all podcasting apps and on the GOA YouTube page tomorrow. State of the Second podcast is dropping tomorrow with Jamin, CEO of Palmetto State Armory.
There you go. Good talk. That'd be a good talk. Interesting guy to begin with. Let's just say that much. From I guess Arizona's trying to take over that whole middle section right there is all Arizona at this point. Holy shit. From RTT Gunziger, we got Matt. What's going on, man? Welcome to the channel.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, bro. Anything you got going on? So this is going to be, you're going to SHOT Show, correct?
Yes.
And do I understand this? Is this your first SHOT Show?
This is my first SHOT Show.
All right. We're going to have some fun tonight then. Yeah. You're going to love it, by the way. So yeah, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you on, man. For
Thanks,
sure.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And riding shotgun as always, the little man that is the tactical virus. I mean, Leprechaun himself. What's up, Clove? How you doing, man?
Kurt is a top hat and monocle away from being Mr. Peanut. I'm just saying. You should have seen
the color options that we did have. There was one that was like a light blue background where he looked like the devil had, he vacationed on the sun.
Man.
But
that could have been better. That could have been better looking like you got a serious case of Lyme disease.
I did tell me it looked like he was unhealthy, but
hey, dude. Eat some fruit, bro. Eat some fruit.
You get a shotgun force.
Let's just go with the brand. Something that I'm I kind of need to pay a little more attention to at SHOT this year. I haven't at shows, and I kind of feel bad about it. And you know more about them than me because you shield for them, of course. But was it Garrisar?
Garrisar, yeah, with Hyperion Munitions under their umbrella. Yeah, they're out of Florida. Sure are.
Yeah. I've looked them over. They got some pretty cool stuff, but I don't know. I haven't really talked to them in detail about any of that stuff before. I don't think. I may have on this show once upon a time when you had them on, but we talked about 8 billion other things at the same time. So,
well, that's the problem with having Casey on. He's involved with so many different things that asking him what's going on is an hour and a half question because he's got 7 different companies under that umbrella. So that's what it is. No, Garrisard's some good stuff. I've never shot one of them before, but that could change. That probably should change, but I've never shot one of them before. But yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of that. Faux shizzle. All right, boys and girls, you guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. over in our YouTube community tab, we have our pony polls. Pony polls. Go check out our friends over at AndersonManufacturing.com. Let's go check these polls out for this week and see what's going on. This one was put out yesterday. It's got over 1,000 votes. All right, boys and girls, I want to hear from the chat and obviously the panel. We're going to run through the panel and their answers on this. Who is better? It's a pretty simple question. Who is better, Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam? Christopher, Alice in Chains or Pearl Jam? I know that's a tough one.
No, I'm going Alice in Chains.
Yep. Kyle?
I want to say Pearl Jam because Pearl Jam, man, they could sing, but Alice in Chains.
Lane Staley could sing.
What's that?
Yeah. I said Lane Staley could sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But Alice in Chains for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. They're both great.
They are.
Matt, what about you?
So it had Pearl Jam stopped at the 10 album.
That's fair.
This would be a far harder question to answer, but definitely Alice in Chains. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so my favorite Pearl Jam song, I love 10. I think it's a phenomenal album. My favorite song is Yellow Ledbetter. Ironically, they didn't put that on 10 because they didn't think it was good enough for that album. Ended up being probably one of their biggest hits ever. So go figure. But yeah, I agree. If they would have stopped at 10 and still released Yellow Ledbetter, I'm okay with that. I'd be okay with that. So, John, in the early 90s, there was this movement from Seattle called grunge. And there was 4 big bands that came out of the area. You had Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, many, many, many more. But those are the 4 big ones. So we're trying to discuss the 2 of them, which were Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. I don't know if you've listened to them before, but if you had to choose one, what would you think?
I'm going to go with Pearl Jam because that's the one I've probably listened to the most.
I think Pearl Jam. So here's the thing. Without Pearl Jam, there might not have been a Seattle sound. Let's be honest. Pearl Jam kind of opened the doors. I think Nirvana would have still come on and hit strong, but I don't think Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, I don't think they would have hit as hard without Pearl Jam coming in. So as much as I love Alice in Chains, there has to be a little respect for Pearl Jam there. So I don't like I said, there's not a wrong answer. Not a wrong answer. Kurt, what say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Matt on this one. Like, I think that 10, if they had just like, that was an amazing album, and after that, I don't know, they went all folksy and weird, and I was like not having it.
They also went like weird, like political stuff. Like, you know. Which is fine. I'm all for it being political, but I don't have to like it, right? You know.
I saw them live at Lollapalooza 2.
So did I. When they came through Dallas, by
the way,
$10. They're great. They're great in live. They are phenomenal live. I'll give them that.
$10. Yeah, that any of the lyrics of Yellow Ledbetter, though. Seriously. Like,
I mean, let's be honest. Yellow Ledbetter, Black. You're not going to find lyrics on those because if you go look at 10 lyric sites, all 10 different things are going to be different. So Yellow Ledbetter, there doesn't have to be any words. If they just played the music, it'd be a phenomenal song. That's my favorite.
There's some really good old Flash videos actually where like they made up the words to Yellow Ledbetter.
And you know what? It sounds plausible. Let's just be honest.
The Wizard and the Whale. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the only ones that I know, and the funny thing is that song was actually written as a protest song for the first Gulf War, and there's a line in there that people don't know that says, "I don't know if he's coming home in a what is it, a box or a bag, a body bag or a coffin," and but when I first heard that, I was like, "Box or a bag?" But then I realized later on, that it was actually a protest song about the first Gulf War. So I was like, a box or a bag? That's probably kind of profound, but yeah, great song. Both great bands. Clover, are you going to pick like George Jones or something?
I'll take the bag. I'm not.
We'll take the bag, not the box.
They give boxes at Aldi all the time, and I really hate it. So we take our own bags. So I prefer the.
Hey, there's an Aldi being built about 45 minutes from here. I never heard of until you talked about them.
So they are opening one. I'm so excited. We got to drive over an hour to get to one typically, and there's one opening up one county over now. Aldi's really cranking it out and expanding it.
I had never heard of them until you brought them up not too long ago, and my wife found out they're building one in a town about 45 minutes from here. So
highly recommended. I don't know if this is the channel, if they're on the channel, The Company Man or not, but if they are, that's a phenomenal channel for businesses and how they've grown or how they've fallen or whatever. But look up some stuff on Aldi and the way their company operates and stuff. Pretty amazing. Pretty awesome. Right on. Yeah. To the poll question.
Yeah.
I go Pearl Jam, man.
You can't go wrong. I like Pearl Jam as a band for my vote. As a band, I like Pearl Jam. As a singer, I think everyone that's been around my channel for any length of time knows that I think Chris Cornell is probably the greatest vocalist I've ever heard. Male vocalist. I'll put Chris Cornell's voice against anybody. That said, Lane Staley has probably one of the top probably 5. Yeah. So yeah, who was that said that? Oh yeah, Matt. So John, there was a band called you probably have known them, but a band called Temple of the Dog, which was basically Pearl Jam with Chris Cornell and one other band member from It was a mixture of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. It's a song called Hunger Strike. The best song they ever came out was Say Hello to Heaven, in my opinion, but that's but I'm a Chris Cornell guy, and that showed off his vocals great. But no, I'm a big Chris Cornell fan, but Lane had one of those voices, and I think Kyle was the one that brought it up. Go check out Man in a Box. But if you can go and watch the unplugged version, like literally Lane came out of rehab that morning and hadn't sung in like 60 days and did unplug that night. Lane's amazing voice. So I can't go wrong with either one of them. That said, 65%, over 1,000 votes, 65% say Alice in Chains, 65 to 35. I thought it would be a little bit closer. I figured Alice in Chains would win, but I didn't think it was going to be by that big of a margin. But yeah, our next poll, 1.9 thousand votes. Which one, boys? Spaghetti or tacos? And it is Taco Tuesday, so do not let that sway you. Okay, do not let that sway you. Kyle, spaghetti or tacos? If you had to choose one,
Tacos easily takes the cake on this.
Tacos,
Yep.
tacos. Kurt, what about you?
Tacos all the way. I mean, if you don't say tacos, you're wrong.
I agree. Ginger,
Oh, it's tacos.
Clover. I know what you're gonna say.
I'm not giving up my Texas card. It's tacos, man.
Well, there's some Italians that live in Texas, but I agree with you.
An Italian taco, then. We got to do that. How about a spaghetti taco?
A spaghetti taco. A spaghetti taco.
They're
Or
really
a spaghetti burrito. I'm not joking. Like a flour burrito with spaghetti and stuff. That could be interesting.
Throw
Like
some
I'd actually
meatballs
might
in
get
there.
down with that.
Yeah.
Matt, what about you? Spaghetti or tacos?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. He's not from Texas, Clover, so you can't fault him for it.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Chris, what about you?
Definitely tacos.
I agree. 1.9 thousand votes. 63% say tacos. 37% were wrong.
So now I got to know why from Matt.
All right, Matt.
You guys-
Clover's calling you out on this.
I just like Italian food better than Mexican food.
Well,
Yeah,
that's fair.
nothing special. I just prefer like pasta and red sauce, stuff like that. And
I love it. So let me ask you this. Being that you're originally from Ohio, what's your take on Cincinnati chili?
I lived up near Michigan, dude.
Good. So you don't like it? I'm looking for anyone that doesn't like Cincinnati chili because I have to let Kyle and Chris and Ginger know that this is not like some great thing. It's disgusting. It's really bad chili on. It's really, really bad chili, like sweet, like really sweet chili, like sweetness, like sugar and all that on top of spaghetti noodles.
Don't listen to Trey.
You give me chili, regular chili, and let me put it on top of spaghetti noodles. I'm okay. But like the Cincinnati flavoring is just ugh.
Cincinnati chili isn't chili though.
Exactly.
It's skyline. It's something. It's not chili.
That's right. And for them to call it chili is blasphemous. I'm just saying.
Kurt is on the song. We don't say we're getting chili. We're saying we're getting skyline.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
so
that
there's
Gold
other places
Not-
besides Skyline that make it, but is it all Skyline no matter where it comes from?
Well,
Well,
that's
there's
the
also
thing.
Gold Star, but again, there's nobody wants
Yeah,
that.
you got like a cult following for each respective chili company. Like you got Dixie Chili, Gold Star.
Let's be
Skyline.
honest, Kyle. There's no respectable chili thing that's called Cincinnati chili.
Get out
Now-
of here.
Now, Gold Star was
he
different.
can't even get it out. He can't even talk about it.
Gold Star was different because they offered two different ones, didn't they, Kyle? They had the Texas
Tex-Mex.
chili and then
Gold Star's got the Tex-Mex chili now.
yeah.
That's
got
they
your
should.
beans.
There's no way that a company in Ohio should call anything Texas chili if they're going to put it on spaghetti noodles. I'm just saying.
Max.
That's even worse.
Hey, I don't like Gold Star, so you talk bag on them all you want. Now you leave
Yeah.
Skyline alone.
Nasty shit, man.
Now-
Nasty
now,
shit.
Ghost, going back to
Yeah.
your spaghetti taco.
Yeah. I'm saying.
I've not done that, but I have filled a hoagie bun with spaghetti and meatballs.
Okay. Well, that's
And-
that's yeah. I obviously the meatball stuff, but I never put the spaghetti noodles on there as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you?
Does it make the bread soggy?
Well, I didn't. It didn't last long enough to find out.
That's fair.
Do
That's
you
fair.
do you
That's fair.
toast it? Do you toast it with some garlic and cheese first?
Garlic and cheese? Make it basically a garlic bread to hoagie.
Yeah.
I could be down
Right.
with that because
Right.
because at that point we're just calling it like garlic bread sandwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
Spaghetti tacos are good. You fry the spaghetti and throw it in the taco shell. I've done it. It's delicious.
Skyline does have burritos.
We're back on this shit again.
I'm just
Has
saying.
burritos?
Yeah. It's noodles and chili.
So does Wendy's, Kurt. That don't make it right.
Yeah, Wendy's has chili too, but let's not call it chili, okay?
We got Chilitos.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
You want to be my latex salesman?
You would be my latex salesman.
John, did you say fry? The
He
spaghetti?
did. I was
Yeah,
going to let
sure.
it go, but I was
You
hoping
make
it
the
would be brought
spaghetti
up
like it
again.
is, and then you pan fry it. with some-
Mexican food's
with
all about
olive oil, and
refrying
you
things.
put it-
You notice that?
It's delicious.
Okay. All right. 63% of the 1.9 thousand votes were correct in choosing tacos. 37 were wrong. And that's okay. That's okay. Everyone's allowed to be wrong.
It's actually a pretty high number.
It
Wow.
is a high number. Honestly, I mean, I love spaghetti too. Let's not
I wouldn't think over
Why?
tacos though it would get 37%, maybe in the 20s.
there's a lot of people that may not watch this that are in the South. They might be from the North, and maybe up north spaghetti's more, but you cross that Mason-Dixon line, tacos are kind of a lifestyle down here. So just saying. I don't know. 37% did choose spaghetti, and it is what it is. All right, our last pony poll of the week. Which is better? We've over the last 6 months or so, we've had a couple different brackets to figure this out. These were the last two, and John, this might hurt you a little bit. I know that this is something that you might not like to answer, but which one's better, the MP5 or the P90? MP5 or P90? Clover, let's start with you. I'm going to leave Ginger for last because he's going to have to make up his mind here.
Oh, that one's easy. MP5.
Okay, all right. Not that I disagree, but Kyle, MP5 or the P90?
I'm going to go with the MP5, and my reasoning is ammo availability. Otherwise, I'd probably go with the HK.
Both fair arguments. I'm not going to go wrong with either one of them. I mean, if someone were going to give me one of them, I wouldn't say no to either one of them. Let's be honest.
Me neither.
Christopher?
MP5.
Good boy. Kurt?
MP5. Nothing beats that slap.
It's if for no other reason, the slap makes it worthwhile. For no other reason. Matt, MP5 or P90?
I'm with everybody else. MP5, same reasons, Kyle.
Absolutely.
Ammo,
For me, I think everyone that knows around me before I get to Ginger, because but everyone that has been around me knows that probably MP5 might be one of my favorite guns that I've ever shot in my life. And if you haven't had a chance to shoot a full auto, like legit MP5, that should be on the list with a full auto, legit AK-47. Those are the two full autos that I think everyone, well, obviously the Mod Deuce and maybe a 240 Bravo, but ones that people can actually probably get a chance to shoot. If you've got an opportunity to shoot an MP5 or an AK, like a legit full auto AK, do so, because they're both.
I've got an accessory project that I need to pitch to Kyle.
I bet you do.
He needs to get with his engineers on this.
He likes to accessorize.
We need a spring-loaded bolt accessory thingy that screws on the pick rail or the key mod or the what's the other one? The one that doesn't suck.
M-Lock.
M-Lock.
M-Lock's the one that doesn't suck. Yeah. You talking about key mods? Awesome.
That
man. What are you talking
simulates
about?
Yeah, right. That simulates the HK slap, man. That's what we need. Can you imagine? You'd sell the crap out of those.
That would be cool.
Hey, SHOT Show's
It
in a couple
does
weeks.
nothing.
You never know what's going to be announced in a couple weeks.
And it
right?
doesn't do anything. It's just a bolt that slides back and forth with the spring, and you can lock it back, and when you want to, you can slap it.
So I'm going to bring
the CZ Scorpion has the slap as well, and it's the only good thing about it.
I enjoy the CZ Scorpion. I did trade it for the Beretta CX4, but the Scorpion's not bad. But it's not the same slap. It's a little different slap.
Yeah.
But you're right. They tried. Ginger, before I have you answer this question, you are going to have PSA. Oh, you've already recorded the podcast. I would say I know the answer, but the number one answer. Let's just take. You want to take bets? What the number one question in the comments are going to be? Hey, PSA, when's your MP5 clone coming out? Oh, never. The guy's not with the company anymore. But I guarantee that's probably the number one question that's in your comments. When's the MP5 coming?
They already said that I talked to Jamie. He said they're not doing it. It's not.
Oh, I know. The guy that was heading it up hasn't been with the company for like 3 years. But did that question come up in the podcast?
It did not. I actually asked him after the fact. I didn't ask. I forgot to ask him on air. I wanted to, but we were talking about something else and just got distracted.
There you go. So let's hear your answer because I'm kind of interested in what your answer is.
Oh yeah,
I think I know where you're going.
Everybody in this room is wrong. The PS90 is the best. You know, Stargate SG1.
Well, I would say the P90 because PS90 is semi-auto. And if you're going to go one of them, I'd go P90.
The P90.
I love the P90 design. I love the P90 design, but
it defended our world from alien invasion and Stargate SG1. Therefore, it's the best. Has the MP5 defended our world against aliens? No. So you all are wrong. Also, full auto P90 is dope. It is so much fun.
It is. No, I'd say what's another fun full auto, and we'll talk about this at range day a little bit. Matt, have you ever shot a Chris Vector full auto?
No, not full auto.
You need to go to the Vector booth if they're going to be there at range day and enjoy your 6 rounds in 0.2 seconds. It's the best 0.2 seconds of your life. Now, that is one of the fastest full autos I've ever shot in my life, and it's pretty fun. Obviously, the line will be long. They always are at Vector. But if you ever get a chance, go to the Vector at range day and get a chance because that's one of the most fun full autos you're going to shoot because it's so fast. Like, it is legit like one of the fastest full autos I've ever seen and been around. But yeah, 2.2 thousand votes, 84% were correct and say the MP5. 16% must have been all of John's alt accounts that he was voting with. So, it's all good. It's all good. Guys, those are the pony polls this week. We have fun with them. And go check out our good friends over at AndersonManufacturing.com. And tell them you want the hashtag Pony Express 2024. John, let's talk about the Pony Express real quick.
Oh, well, the Pony Express was this great idea we had with Kyle back in
right
March,
here
on this show in March. And I said, Kyle, you need to make a side-by-side, double barrel, 12 gauge, hammer fired, double trigger shotgun called the Pony Express from Anderson Manufacturing. It is now 2024, Kyle. So we want to see the Pony Express.
But we do know that Mr. Anderson himself is aware of this because he asked Kyle about what the hell is a Pony Express? That's amazing, by the way.
Which means that we are doing a great job, guys. So keep up the grassroots effort. Hashtag Pony Express 2024. I want to see it by August. Kyle,
what we're asking everybody to do is any Facebook or Instagram, whichever platform you prefer, anytime Anderson Manufacturing makes a post on Instagram or Facebook, comment hashtag Pony Express 2024. That's all we're asking you to do.
Kyle,
John, I'm typing up an email to Mr. Anderson right now that you demand it by August 2024.
And he's like, that's fine. I just need about $350,000 for the initial investment.
And you know what else, John? We don't need to talk about that.
So
is that supposed to be private?
We know
that John gives reach arounds. Let's be honest here.
We have 3
Kurt,
marketing guys.
I'm sorry. Was that private?
We have 3 industry marketing guys. Kurt, is the Pony Express probably the greatest thing you've ever heard of?
It's great, absolutely.
And
It's
everybody
awesome,
else agrees. So Kyle, it's a market. It's just say it's a marketing expense.
We just need the Andersons to buy into the pony idea. Just buy into it and own it. If they own the pony, oh my God, you could have so much fun with that.
We already own the pony.
Yeah, but you don't own it. Like you're a little bit. Some people in the organization are still a little. How do I put this? Embarrassed by the pony. Embrace the pony. Embrace the pony.
Unleash it.
Unleash the Kraken. All right, boys and girls. Huh? What's that? You're muted, bud.
I have a meeting with Kyle.
I'm
going to have a meeting with Kyle at Shot. I'm going to bring it up during our meeting and see what happens. I'm going to get asked to leave the booth immediately.
Bring it on.
Yes.
Hey,
or you might get offered a job. Anyways, all right. Boys and girls, gentlemen, kids of all ages, we are going to talk a little about SHOT Show, but we're going to talk a little bit about SHOT Show from a little different perspective. Everyone kind of knows what you always hear every year about SHOT Show, but we're going to kind of talk a little bit about behind the scenes. We got some industry people here. We got some of us that have been going for a while. We've got a rookie that's in the house. We've got someone like Chris, who's his second year. Kind of talk a little bit about past experiences or what we're looking to do, and also behind the scenes of I want to talk with Kurt, and I want to talk with Kyle a little bit about the industry side of what it's like going to SHOT as industry, and for Kyle and all that. And I know Kurt, with other companies you've been with, the preparation as a company with SHOT, which I think is stupid. I always heard how much it was from everybody until last year, and Clover and I got a very small taste of having to help a company that had some issues with some personnel that we had to help set up on Sunday, and then go to range day and help set up. So we got to see a little bit behind it
and tear down.
And tear. I wasn't there to tear down because I was on the flight home. But you get involved with some of that stuff, and like I said, even though it's a small part, I have a much different outlook and a much greater respect for what the industry has to go through, because I didn't understand. I knew, but I didn't understand. For people that don't think that how to put this, the Italians are still very much alive and well and running a lot of Vegas. Nothing can happen at SHOT Show without the Teamsters. Let's just be honest. And I didn't realize it was that strong until you're sitting there for 2.5 hours waiting for your crates to be delivered, and they don't give a shit. Like, it'll be there when we tell you it's going to be there. So I didn't realize that. And God forbid if you try to hire someone outside to help put up your booth, that's probably not very good.
Just got to break off a little green, man. That's all.
That's right.
Hey, want it quicker, grease and palms, man.
I'm just saying.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, and you probably only tried once, didn't you?
Ghost, ask Kurt about the time that they broke our crate.
Oh my Lord. That was the COVID year. That was the year that,
yeah.
So like, yeah, we all got COVID before it was cool. So that Friday, I was sick as a dog. And then you wait around for your crate to show up. And literally that's when I was at Faxon, and across from us was, I think, Voodoo Tactical or something. And they had packed up and left. So we were literally just sitting around waiting for our crate. I'm like, they have padded carpet. I'm going to go lay in their empty booth and sleep until our stuff shows up. But yeah, so they broke our crate, and then they couldn't find it. And so we had to come back the next day. And I mean, we had everybody flying out. So I'm like, you got to find my stuff because everyone's leaving. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Like I said, I was aware that certain things that had happened and all that. Kyle, I want to bring you in real quick, and from the industry standpoint, I'm sure in certain ways, shots a year-round thing. Now, obviously, you've got a year, but there are things that you have to kind of prepare for and plan and all of that for the next year. But legitimately, shots middle of January. Legitimately, like, when does Anderson kind of go into like full-blown shot mode?
Full-blown shot mode, I'd say, really sets in around late September, early October. That's when things are getting real. Like, you're kind of pushing it as far as timelines go. If you need anything to get shipped to you, because if you need something, I guarantee every other company at that show is going to need something. So
yeah,
you got to get crafty and get things done. But yeah, late September and early October is when things start getting serious about shots. Start planning it out. And really just finalizing plans and stuff.
Yeah, John, Kurt, when you guys were at Faxon, was it about the same kind of timeline when you start talking 3-4 months out from a big show that's NRAM or shot? Is that kind of about the timeline?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, well, what would happen is because I was having to do all the marketing and all the logistics to get the booth and everything ready. And, as we'd figure out what new product are we going to launch at SHOT, I'd start bugging everybody literally in March. I'm like, guys, I know SHOT seems far away, but
it's really
we
not.
need to get this figured out now. And of course it would end up being last minute. We would literally FedEx and fly stuff in, but I was always at the end, so I'm like, I have to make booth graphics and brochures and everything. So you guys can't wait till a week before, So
that's one of the biggest things that people don't think about is all the marketing materials. It's not just putting up your booth and putting your guns up. It's a trade show. It's all of your marketing stuff. Kyle, I can only imagine when you guys do. And now Kurt brought up deadlines for product releases and all that. How much, Kyle, I want to bring you in. I'll bring that to Kurt and John for the industry side. As far as the industry goes, how far in advance do y'all start thinking of concepts for gun releases that you want to release for SHOT? Is that a year or 2 years out, or when does that really become, say, hey, this is the drop dead date till we know if we can make this happen to release at SHOT?
And I don't know how it works for the rest of the industry, but I'm with Kurt. Usually around March or April, we'll have a few product lines that are in development, and I'll go up to the engineer house and be like, hey, which one of these are going to land around January timeframe. Funny story, I guess we can get it out now since it's over with. But last year, the Kiger 9C Pro, we weren't sure that it was going to launch a SHOT show.
Really?
We had no clue if it was going to be ready to roll or not, just because we cut it that close with the marketing and all that. And it wasn't the most successful launch as far as marketing support behind it, but that's just because we cut it that close to the show to know, is this thing going to be able to go full production next week or not?
Well, last year you also, not only did you release the Kiger 9C Pro, but you also released the bolt action to the public. And so I can only imagine what you guys are having to go through of which one do you push? Do you equally push both of them out there, or that's a decision probably that has to be made very early on, which is the big push,
Yeah, and like Kurt said, nobody really thinks about the marketing end of this thing. Not even your own engineers. So,
well, that's probably even more true. They're probably more oblivious to it than we are. Now, Snob does. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, we got till January 21st to get this done. That's the way the engineers look at it.
Right.
Night before.
Oh, I guarantee, like Kurt said, there's be some FedExing overnight, FedExing some stuff. I promise you.
Every year. Oh, yeah. Every year.
Snob does bring up a good point. He said, John had a rough time at SHOT last year. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah. Little salt in the wound for you. Yeah, you're number one too, buddy. You're number one. It's a rough one. Hey, without friends like us, then what do you have? You have enemies. So yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna bring Kurt back in and John from the Faxon days. Or Kurt, are you guys gonna have a booth this year at TCRT?
Yeah, we definitely are. We've got one over in Caesars.
Caesars. Oh, yep. I actually love Caesars. I think it's one of the best things they did.
I totally agree. I was like early on when the first year they did it, I'm like, I don't know, man. And you could see where they were trying to push some of the bigger companies, and I'm sure they gave them really good deals. But yeah, it's really turned into a great facility. It's a great addition.
Yeah, I love it. My favorite place is the dungeon. I think everyone's very, they know that about me. I spend about 75% of my time all week down in the dungeon. I think that's just where the vibe is. I think it's where all the crazy good shit happens. My second favorite place now is easily Caesars. I love Caesars.
You know what I would like to see them do at Caesars? NSF, I don't know. They have event people that do a lot of that. They're not even involved, and when they are, they make weird decisions. But you know how you go into Caesars and on the left is new product and a lot of the smaller companies and the little bitty booths that are just
and some organizations and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't they? I don't understand. Why don't they open that space? Try to give some really good deals for people on the main floor. Some of those companies to fill that space, like the other event halls or whatever you call them in Caesars, right? And then move those smaller booths to the main floor. And then you've got so many people that traverse the main floor simply because it's the main floor, right? You got to realize when we're talking about media, people that's gone up a bunch, a lot different than the dealers and the other folks that are walking through. They're kind of used to that main floor. Potentially more exposure for the people in those smaller booths, right? It'd kind of be more bang for their buck. I think it'd be more beneficial to them. And I'm sure they're not thinking about that, but I think that would help.
I mean, I'm sure that thought has come through, but let's just be honest. It's about the maximizing the profit of price per square foot.
I'm sure.
And
it's that also just so, I mean, the way it works is there's literally a point system. Okay. So, if it's your first year, you're not going to make it on the main floor. Literally, right. The more years you do SHOT Show, you literally get NSSF points.
Chances are at this point, you're not going to make Caesars your first couple of years. You're probably going to be in the dungeon, which is
you will be in the dungeon.
It is.
Yeah, you'll be down in the basement. When I was at Faxon, we got squirreled over in LE for the longest time.
Which is not a bad spot either, though.
It's not, but nobody was looking for us there,
No, that's probably true. Yeah.
So it was funny because what happened was we had, I had made a really strong concerted effort, one year to be like, look, I'm going to get as many NSSF points as we can. I'm going to kiss up to everybody I can. And so literally the way it works is NSSF will give you a date and time where they will call you and you pick your boost spot, and there's an order. The more points you have, then you're higher up on the list, and then you get to pick your spot, right? And so obviously if you're new, you're going to be at the end and you're going to be stuck with kind of whatever's left. So, but yeah, don't miss that call. There was one time where we were like in a range day or something in the middle of nowhere, and we had to take that call. So we had to drive into town to make sure that we had service. Like, it's crazy. But like you get points. And so it was funny because I saw like there was a spot on the main floor, and I was like, hey, what about there? And there's like this little corner that's kind of the island of misfit toys.
It's on the main floor.
Kind of throw some smaller companies in. And she's like, hang on. And after like 15 minutes, she comes back. She's like, okay. So I don't know how I swung that one, but it worked out. Yeah. But there's an entire point system. And to your point, Clover, it's definitely regulated or there's a whole system to it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to, like you said, how many years have you been there? But I know there are companies, and let's just take the dungeon, for instance. I know there are companies that are not small starter-ups, few years old companies that are established in the industry that kind of keep where they were when they started out. They're in the dungeon. Now, it might have grown and expanded into taking over several different areas of the dungeon, but now they're like the big dog of the dungeon. And like I said, for me, the basement is the first place I go Tuesday morning is the dungeon, because within 10 minutes, I'll be able to basically figure out the vibe of the entire SHOT Show week is that first 15 minutes in the dungeon. And I love it down there. It's literally where the people that have sometimes literally everything that they have, they've invested into that week and hoping to God they get some sales and some contracts or they won't be around. And unfortunately, I don't know what the number is, but I'd be willing to bet it's double digits. I'm not saying it's 50%, but it might be 10, 20% of those companies you'll never see again. Let's just be honest. And that sucks, but that's also why I love the dungeon is it's where the innovation is. It's where all of the people that are throwing everything into the ring and saying, this is a make or break it week for me. And as a content creator, Matt, I'm not telling you how to do your business, but I would spend some time down in the dungeon, especially as a first time at SHOT Show guy. There are some companies that you'll probably love that are going to do anything and everything they can to get in front of a camera. And so if you're worried about maybe getting some interviews and all that, the dungeon's a great place because a lot of these companies, they're begging for a camera to show up to their booth and get some exposure for sure. Go ahead, Clove.
Yeah, the dungeon is a good way to prime your yes bank, right?
100%.
You're going to get told no a lot. Just get prepared for that. But you're going to get told no a lot less in the dungeon. So if you work the dungeon, it can help kind of build that confidence or whatever to be able to approach some of those larger companies and deal with those no's from bigger companies a little better.
Yeah,
this isn't my first show. Like I've been to GunCon and other shows, and I mean, so I'm this is just the largest one.
Well, it's going to overwhelm you, but you'll be okay. I'd say the biggest part that's going to overwhelm you is not the fact that it's big and there's 75,000 people there. It's the fact that until you go there, you don't understand. Navigating SHOT Show is a bitch. You will get lost, and that's just what it is. I mean, it is what it is. And I tell people in their first year, especially if you're on the main floor of the dungeon, try to find like wherever door that you plan on coming in and out into that main room, whether it's Smith & Wesson or it's Beretta, or find a booth that has something up in the ceiling that no matter where you are on the main floor, you say, if I can get to Smith & Wesson booth, I can get out of this place, and or whatever that booth is. Try to find your North Star real quick. But real quick, with Kyle and Kurt and John that are and have been industry, and then some of us have been there for going to SHOT for a while now. Do you have any questions, Matt, about anything about SHOT, or are you pretty much good to go at this point? I mean, yes, you have some industry people. If you have some industry questions, they might be able to answer them for you.
Not like I've talked to John pretty extensively about SHOT Show over the last couple months. Well, it's I'm a glutton for punishment, but
I understand. Yeah,
he's
and then again, you were talking to John, so for what that's worth.
So he might not be the right person to talk to.
John's fun to talk to because then me and my friends can laugh about the stuff later.
That's fair. That's fair.
But no, I've talked to John quite extensively about SHOT Show and things like that. I've got, I don't know, half dozen or more art meetings set up with different companies at their booths throughout the week right now. And again, I've been to other shows and not just firearm shows. Like I used to go to the Arnold Classic all the time in Columbus, Ohio, and that's huge. So I think in my mind, I'm probably pretty prepared,
Good.
with the exception of never having been there.
Exactly.
Getting lost and knowing my way around. But outside of never having been there, the type of event that it is, I'm not necessarily a stranger to. Good.
Because people that I've seen Clover, we know this.
We've heard that before.
Seen people that have literally ended up in the media room, literally in the fetal position, having a panic attack.
Well, we've heard that exact thing before too in the past. So the follow up to shot's going to be interesting.
Well, and that's why I want to bring Chris in, while we still got Chris, where he can maybe talk a little bit. Chris, this was your last year, was your first year to shot. And I know you and I have talked privately about this and different things. But going into shot last year versus going into shot this year is your second year. Is it a completely different outlook, or obviously you're going to tweak some different things that you're going to do, but how much different are you going to approach shot this year versus last year?
Big thing for me will be don't stay down in the basement for 2.5 days like I did last year. Get up on the main floor.
I don't know.
Split it up. I stay down there quite a bit, but you do have to spread it around.
Looking at the relationships you have, bro, and you've built that, I don't know that was. I mean, I get it because you got to evolve and you got to progress or whatever. So I understand your move, but I wouldn't discount the benefits that you reaped off of doing that.
Oh no, and I don't. I think the biggest thing that happened to me was because I had to leave a day early last year. Now this year I'll have that extra day, but
that's true.
When I finally got up
Thursday,
when I finally got up to the main floor, I'm like, I only got a day and a half to get this knocked out. And it was just kind of run everywhere. But
did you make it over to Caesars last year?
Yeah, I ended up making it over.
Okay. So, you weren't able to spend a whole lot of time over there?
Not as much as I wanted to.
Yeah. Okay. Bring Kyle. Go ahead, Cliff.
Caesars is a pretty quick work because Caesars is more spread than the main floor. Everything's not jam packed quite as tight, so it's a little easier to navigate and get zigzag back across.
I'm assuming that Caesars is going to be a little bit more crowded this year. I'd have to imagine. Make more money. They maybe brought some companies up from the dungeon and gave them spots over at Caesars or something. But I hope they didn't lose the openness, because you don't feel like a sardine in a can at Caesars. Hopefully that doesn't change. I don't know.
My probably my one thing would be finding somebody to go to range day with. It says it's my first year.
You got plenty of folks going to be there.
Yeah.
Or you need a ride.
Say again.
You saying you need a ride or just somebody to hang with?
Yeah, because your first year you have to go to range day with somebody.
Oh, are you not? You don't have a pass to range day yet.
No.
What you're saying?
Holy crap! Okay,
we need to talk. We need to talk after the shows when we go off air.
Screw that. We'll do it right now. You got the side chat, right?
Yeah, I've already spent my 3, so I don't have any more room. But maybe Clover, you might have one.
Yeah, we'll side chat. We'll side chat a little bit here, real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to be invited by someone, and each person that's been to range day that gets invited gets 3 spots. My 3 spots are already taken up for new people. Well, not new. Chris went last year. I don't know why you didn't get your own this year. Anyways, but my 3 are gone. But maybe Clover has an extra one. But we can get you in as of right now. You look in the private chat and you and Clover. We'll make sure that you get invited to range day for sure.
Post haste, got to get that done.
Yeah, for sure. All right, real quick, I'm gonna bring Kyle and Kurt and even Ginger in. And interesting because Kurt and John, you've been on the industry side, you've been on the marketing side, but you're also creators as well. And really quick before we jump into this, Kurt, I want you and John to give you a few minutes to talk about the new endeavor. You just released your 3rd video? I think it's your 3rd one that just came out. Is that right? The 3rd one?
The 3rd one's coming. The 2nd one just dropped about 10 days ago.
Yeah. Oh, it was only your 2nd. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was your 3rd, but yeah. I want you guys to talk about full reviews, guys, the new endeavor that you guys are. And Kurt, I applaud you. It is something special to take on a new project with John. So I applaud you for that, sir, and God bless you. But yeah, I want you guys to take a few minutes to talk about the new project. Go ahead.
All yours.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. So Fully Loaded Reviews, Kurt and I's review channel. Kurt and I have been on the marketing side of the industry for Kurt way longer than I have. probably.
You just call me old again.
Yes, and I will call you old
I
again.
think he is.
Okay, fair, fair.
I'm putting the link out in the chat for everybody.
I mean,
Go check out Fully Loaded Reviews.
You do have a birthday on Sunday before shot,
It's
just
true.
so everybody knows.
It's true, yeah.
So Kurt and
We
I
can party on
take
Friday.
kind of a Kurt and I take a kind of different approach because we do come from the marketing side, so we kind of look at it from a marketing aspect, kind of go deeper into reviews. Go
And when they say deeper, they're talking nothing fancy deeper. I'm just saying.
Well, I think the piece of it is because we've seen it from the marketing and production and product development side. We really do. We really we know what goes into this, and so we've got, I think, an interesting perspective on it. So we can kind of speak to things like, hey, like why did they kind of cheap out here, versus because we understand, like, look, they're trying to hit a price point, they're trying to hit this point in the market, and so we understand some of that give and take, and we've been on that end of the conversation.
That's an interesting point that John and I have talked about this extensively the last few weeks about ask my opinion and all that, and I love what you're doing. My first reaction to the first one was 37 minutes. It's a little long, but that's just me. But I understand. But I never thought about from that side that you just mentioned, Kurt, is you guys have been and are to a certain extent are still involved in the marketing side of industry stuff. That now that you're also doing the creation. And I want to bring Kyle into this question as well later on, but you guys know what you're looking out of content from creators as a marketing individual from industry. So I never really thought about like utilizing that knowledge and that experience into your own channels. Like, okay, maybe there is a little method to the madness of these different things. And I think that that's interesting that, and let's bring this into Kyle and Kurt, John, all three of you guys go ahead and talk, but, from SHOT Show point of view, we'll come back to Fully Loaded Reviews, I promise, but I'm not very smart, so I will lose train of thought here. From SHOT Show perspective, and you're working as a marketing for an industry, Kyle, Kurt, and John, and you have obviously trying to do business, and you've got different things that are your responsibility during SHOT, but how much of it with the content creators, the YouTubers, the media, if you will, over the last few years, it's probably grown a little bit, but are we, and I say we as a collective group, are we pain in the asses, or how does honestly, and it's okay to break our hearts because we don't care, but the industry, I mean, how does the industry look at the media side of SHOT Show? Is it more of a nuisance, or is it become one of those things where you have to just take it for what it is?
I said it last year. If you come up and have a great conversation with me, or I guess Kurt can say the same thing, is if you have a great conversation and then your channel numbers get brought up later on, I'm more willing to send you or give you product. If you come up to me and go, I've got 100,000 subs and I'm this many views deep in this, I feel like I lose interest right now. And what happens is as we go on and we see you guys at shows and things like that, or even talk on the phone like Matt and I do and you and I do, we become more friends than things. Yeah. So when you ask, it's not as big a deal. And the other thing that what stands out to me from a good content creator is if I have a meeting with you at a show, I have and Kurt knows this and Kyle knows this, we have 60 meetings with 60 different content creators and heads of marketing and partnership companies and things like that.
And you only have so many pieces of product that you're going to be able to send out for T&E or whatever,
Not just that, but we only have so many brain cells. And remembering,
some of us have fewer, let's just be honest.
And remembering that conversation can be hard.
I said too.
But if you go this is what Kurt taught me this when we were at SHOT Show together. Leave a meeting, debrief, write the person's name down, write the company name down, write down what you talked about, and then in my follow-up email 2 weeks later, because I give everyone some breathing room, I bring up that conversation. Now I can remember, they'll remember that conversation a little bit better because you have all the touch points. So if I could recommend anything to anybody going to the show, bring a pen and paper with you, or take really good notes when you leave a booth. So that's my take. Kurt, Kyle, take
I
it.
like
What I
to
would add
leave.
to that
I like to
is
leave
go
white
ahead.
space just real quick because I keyed in on that. I like to leave white space in my business cards
Mhm.
specifically for that purpose. That way, no matter where I'm at, if I don't have my little notepad or whatever, I've got an area on a business card that I can make little notes if I need to.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
shit.
biggest thing that I was going to say is that with SHOT Show, it's a week long, but it goes really fast, and you do not have enough time. So everything that you do has to be extremely deliberate, you know. And that's what I would say. Like if it's your first SHOT Show, have a plan going in, have meetings lined up, do your best to try and group meetings together. Otherwise, you're running, you know. And again, that's just wasted time. And to John's point, you know, like if we're having a conversation, because from a marketing standpoint, especially if you're looking at content creators, you know, obviously I'm interested in, you know, connecting with, you know, people who have a really wide and broad reach. You know, I'm also interested in trying to find the new and up and comer. So my goal there is it's to build those relationships. It's to, you know, find the folks who are going to do a good job. You know, the number of people who come up and be like, well, I have like 50 followers, but can you give me a crap ton of free stuff? No, I can't, you know? But again,
it's all about return on investment. There has to be some sort of return on investment. Let's be honest. You know?
Right. But I've also had people come up to me who don't have a large following, but they're humble and they did it right, you know? And they understand. And okay, you know what?
Be genuine, be confident. You. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
Be hungry. There's something to be said about being hungry, right?
Yeah. More, but don't waste anybody's time because, you know, if you do it right, literally you've got the entire week from like, you know, 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. scheduled out, you know?
Yep.
And so you're always trying to run to a next meeting. Like I've had people who want to sit there and try and talk to me for like 30 minutes. I'm like, dude, I can't. I just can't.
Yep. That's why I tell people all the time, have that 2-minute elevator speech. And if you get more than 2 minutes, great, but don't expect much more than that. I also tell people all the time, and Clover's the same way. When we try to help out people all we can that haven't been there or haven't been to shows in general, and tell them, say, look, you know, you have to be confident. You have to act like you belong there, especially if you're small and starting out. But the best thing to do is just work your ass off and be genuine. Kyle want to bring you in and say, and kind of Kurt alluded to what, you know, he goes through in his decision-making process and as a marketing person and all that with at Anderson, when you're talking to content creators, they come and do interviews or booth reviews, or they're trying to get to know you and all of that. This is for people that are going to be at SHOT Show for the first year or their first show, or they're thinking about turning the camera on, which we need everyone to turn the cameras on. We need as much two-way content out there as we can. But when you have meetings at SHOT Show or NRAM or any of these shows, and you have a creator come in that you don't know, right? Is it channel size? Is it confidence? Excuse me. What are some of the variables that you personally are looking for to decide whether you want to work with a creator or not?
Yeah, I mean, definitely channel size, like statistics, that's a given. You got to look at subscribers, how many views are their videos getting, all that good stuff. But you guys know me, if you ever came through my booth as a creator, like I am not quick to turn anybody down as far as media content goes. Especially if you're at SHOT Show.
You are a little bit of a whore, I'm just saying. So
a little bit. But no, see, on a serious note, if you're at SHOT Show and you're a creator, right off the bat, that tells me like you're serious about this. You're not playing around.
Yep.
Have I been got at SHOT Show by some guys? Yes, I have. Like, you know, like some of their videos came out and they're just cringe, like they don't know what. But for the most part, if you're at SHOT Show, you're a serious player in the game, and I'm going to give you the time of day. But like Kurt and John alluded to, like everything you do at SHOT Show has to be intentional. You only have a certain amount of time to devote to this because you got to handle this. And, you know, yeah, just on the sentiment of what Kurt said, don't waste anybody's time because we're all out there, and it's a marathon, buddy. That week
Yeah.
is a marathon.
It is.
But yeah.
No, and the part that goes into anyone that's out there that's listening in the podcast world or whatever that might be thinking about SHOT Show or becoming a creator in this realm in our industry. Yeah, and we talked to Kyle and Kurt and John both said, you don't want to waste anyone's time. That includes your own. Okay. You have no idea until you go there and you've been to a show, the chaos that could. Now, I love chaos. So I enjoy, there's some beauty in the chaos theory, but there is beauty in chaos to me. But not a lot of people would like that. But if you don't manage, and you have to stay fluid, right, Clover? We talk about this all the time. You have to stay fluid.
Oh, yeah.
You can have all the plans in the world, but they're going to change. Now, if you go without a plan at all, that's when you start maybe getting into trouble. So, Clover, I want to bring you in. Now, this is what our 6th or 7th shot. I know you and I talk about this all the time, but, shot number 1 to shot this one, what's the difference in your prep? Has it changed a lot? I know it has, but I want you to kind of go through how SHOT Show prep has changed for you behind the scenes from year 1 to year 7.
It is going to be so minimalistic this year compared to previous years. There's no sense. Obviously I've got to meet some commitments, sold some advertising and some other things to help pad the coffers for the trip and stuff. So, I do got to do a little bit of content while I'm there, but I can do that with a couple of cell phones, a tripod, and a little microphone set that'll literally fit in cargo pockets if I wanted to. You know what I mean?
True.
There's no sense in the big, huge bag and dragging a bunch of gear around. Those days are long gone, and even more so this year.
Same thing for me. Not only with the gear or the lack thereof that I will be taking, it's gonna be more interesting as far as I've only set up 4 meetings. There are meetings that I want to have, but I've also need to have on a business sense, and I think that's where Clover, you and I made a conscious decision last year to look at SHOT a little bit differently as far as not going there for all the booth interviews and trying to get content. It's doing the business side of things.
Yeah.
And obviously this year is going to be a lot of different. Now the business is creation. It's just not creation at SHOT Show necessarily. I'm not going to go around 25 booths like I did my first year and do 25 booth reviews. Because I didn't see SHOT. I didn't enjoy SHOT. I got home and like, what the hell just happened to me? There's a
place for the booth reviews. I mean, I totally get that. I'm not gonna knock the creators that do that. There's a lot of channels.
I'm just saying for me,
to do that, right?
I can't do it.
There's a benefit to that. There's a benefit to the viewers out there and whatnot. I totally understand. For me, I'd rather spend that time making those relationships instead of taking a video of somebody talking about something in a booth. I'd rather foster those relationships, get that product sent to me 6 months from now, have extended period of time with it to be able to go through and test it, and then put out an actual hands-on video with it, right? Where I've got experience, and I'm not just talking about what it could be or what it might be or what's the specs, right? People actually get to see that in use and being used, and not just one time, but hopefully multiple times in multiple videos as well. So for me, the value proposition, I don't hang my value proposition on content at SHOT Show. It's more setting up the entire year for me.
Yep. That's where I have transitioned to as well. Chris, but I can't ever get Chris to talk. I rarely get Kyle to talk. Matt, at this point now, it's all, you got something to say, we're not going to go raise my hand or I'm going to call. It's a free flowing conversation. But I'm going to ask Kurt and John and Kyle this real quick. And you brought that point up just now, Clover, but from the marketing side of the industry, do you guys, 2 questions. 1, do you enjoy the booth reviews that people do? And 2, how much of that is actually needed? Is that something that companies need, those booth reviews, to kind of get the word out, or they are what they are?
I was going to speak on that.
Yeah.
I think definitely some booth reviews do have a place because like there's a lot of guys out there, like take for instance me 3 years ago, who never in their life thought or think that they're going to make it out to SHOT Show in Las Vegas.
Sure.
So like it's cool for them because I'm at home at work or whatever, but when I get home I can watch YouTube and see the updates from what's new at SHOT Show and what's going on. Can you do them all day? No. No,
I tried. I did my damnedest my first year and it was brutal.
Yeah, that'll kill you, but no, I definitely think they have a place. At least the booth reviews do.
Yep.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, what I was going to say is that I think it's standard kind of marketing, but it's know your audience, and that even goes to the different vendors at SHOT Show. So Clover, to your point, if it's a company that's been around for a while or they're a larger company, they understand and they're more interested in that longer term relationship. And
right.
And SHOT Show for them is about networking. That being said, are you gonna turn down a booth review? Absolutely not, right? And that kind of content, as a marketer, yeah, you always want that information out there. So I'm not going to say no. But the other thing that I would say is that like you mentioned, the folks in the dungeon, right? There a lot of times they're doing up and coming. They live for that. Now, that being said, you guys are going to have to carry a lot of that weight because a lot of those guys have never done.
Oh, they are deer in headlights, and they're literally terrified of being on camera. It's like, you know what? I've actually had people say, you know what? Can you just? I'll tell you what the product's like. Can you just talk about the product? And I was like, yeah, man, I can do that for you. I've had that happen before. You're right, though.
Right. You have to turn it more almost into an interview where they can just do like quick, short answers. They don't have
or agree to do a no face, right? Like you hold the camera and have them talk about it, and you just zoom in on the product itself while they're talking about it, so their face is not in there.
Well,
and that
let's
makes
be
it
honest,
a lot better.
Some of these companies that are down in the dungeon are 1, 2, 3 person companies. This guy's literally probably the owner / engineer who came up with the idea, not a PR person, not a marketing, not anything that has anything to do with a microphone. He spends his life in the closet designing stuff. And now you're saying, oh, you want me to talk about it? Yeah, but can you please talk about it in a way that the average person can understand it? They don't get that stuff. So yeah, they're just as nervous as we are sometimes. They are.
But some of those are pretty amazing things. Like the Robs with Lionheart.
The Robs, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you get them in front of a camera talking about their stuff, and I mean, you see the passion, the detail that they go through.
But you have to pull teeth to get them. I'm saying you have to force them to get on camera. Once they're on camera, they usually enjoy it.
Yeah, you have to make it a comfortable thing. And I think that's part of it too, is if you go in there hard and fast, like your CNN.com reporter crew, right? It's gonna make them nervous. But this is where the fostering the relationship. You walk in, you show interest in the product, you talk with them about them maybe a little bit first, and you go, man, this is freaking awesome. Do you want to view a video? Let's do a video, man. Let's get some stuff out there for the people. This is amazing, right? Well, that's gonna bolster them up, right? That's gonna hype them up. And it's going to make them feel good about their product, which is why they're there, right? And then it lets them know that there's that opportunity. So they're going to get a little more relaxed, I think, rather than just walking in and going, "Hey, you want to do a booth review?" Like it startles them a lot of times with that. Yeah, so if you warm them up, I think it works a little better.
Yeah, before we move on, Scott says, "What's the biggest thing that would surprise you all?" I don't know what context, what we were talking about. Scott, if you're still out there, what would be the biggest thing that would surprise us about what? So give us a little more context to that question, and I'll run it through the panel for sure. Okay, so the next thing I want to bring up is from Kurt and John can also talk about this because excuse me, I got the damn hiccup. That's gonna be great for podcast creators as well. When you're deciding on your strategy. And this is going to be open for the room. And even Matt, this is not your first show, but your first SHOT Show. So we'll talk about your strategy as well. I know what mine is, and I'm pretty sure I know what Clover's is. Do you guys go with a strategy to how to attack SHOT? Because I talk about it being fluid, and that's the only reason why I kind of said I'm only going to schedule about 4 or 5 different things because I know I'm going to add 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 more while I get there. I'm going to meet companies that I never heard of before. I'm going to see someone on range day and say, okay, I wasn't planning on talking with them, but damn, now I got to. So you have to be fluid and all of that. But as creators in this room, what's one of the strategies that you have? Well, kind of go through real quick. Chris, what's one of the strategies that you're implementing this year that might be new towards last year?
The biggest one will be going back and talking to companies that I forged a relationship with last year, going back and,
Follow-up's important.
Yeah.
I see Kyle nodding when you said that.
Yeah. Thanking them for everything they did for them, for me throughout the year. And that'll be a big one for me this year because
sometimes just to get a hug, man. What are you talking?
Hugs are important. Seriously, hugs are important.
Hugs
I was talking with Pinkus yesterday. And I said, I can't wait to get a hug from you, bro.
Hey, and Chris, on the other side of that, on the industry side, it's good to see y'all too, and tell you guys thank you for all the work you did.
Yeah.
So it's likewise for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the fun part of SHOT is. For some of us, we only get to see each other 2 or 3 times at the most a year in person. Now we talk on the phone all the time. We go back and forth emails, texts, and all of that. But in person, we only get to see each other 2 or 3 times a year. So it is kind of a cool thing. And we talk about hugging. I'm a hugging guy. I'm a hug guy. And that may sound weird, but I'm a hugger. And it is nice to get, I go up to Kyle and get Papa Bear's hug, and it is nice to spend some time with friends. And there's something different about face-to-face and having those conversations than they are on the phone. Man. So that's honestly a big part of it for a lot of people. Go ahead.
Just a fist bump, right?
I'm burning through the floor. I don't have time, bro, but I'm burning you.
I'm burning through the floor, point A to point B. I may have already got a hug from Kyle, right? But I passed by Anderson, boom, fist bump, walking by, keep going, doing my thing. It's just it's the transfer of energy. We talked about it, I think, last week about how SHOT Show, sum it up in a word, and the word's energy, right? And the fist bumps, the hugs, just the head nods, whatever it might be. Like, that's all transfer energy, which is amazing.
Yeah. Scott kind of expanding. He says, what's the biggest thing that would surprise you all as in new product or lack of product? Let's go run through the room and it's kind of, if you've got something, go ahead and say it. Don't hold back. Is there anything that would or wouldn't surprise you?
Well, I mean, there's that baseball bat that's got a 22 in the handle that aims towards your face when you swing it. That was
our NSA chat has a field day with that one earlier today.
But here's what I'll say about SHOT in particular, and I guess this could be an unpopular opinion. But there's some new product that people have been planning out for months. Like Kyle and Kurt have been saying since March, we've been planning out what we're launching at SHOT. And then there's some products that get 3D printed 3 days beforehand or a week beforehand or the week before the booth goes because you go, oh, shoot, it's SHOT. We need something new to launch. And you'll see a lot of that where it's just vaporware. I mean, Kurt and I have had that experience where we had something on the 3D printer the day the crate left that was getting assembled with screws. Kurt knows what I'm talking about. Or there's a product that somebody thought was a great idea that gets stashed in the back of the booth, right?
Or a backpack.
Or hidden somewhere.
As long as you don't show to the airport with such product and backpack, you should be okay.
I've had to check a number of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I can't judge a company for their lack of product just because it's not that they're lacking product. It's either they don't have anything in development because it's capital, or they scrambled at the last minute to throw a new coat of paint on something they already had, or they 3D printed a model bullpup revolver,
bullpup revolver that everybody and their mother was waiting to see and show up, and it's a piece of wax.
Or they have absolutely nothing new, which is, I think that's the frustration with a lot of people outside looking in, mainly because they're not there and they're not traversing the dungeon because that's where a lot of the innovative, quote unquote, innovative, newer stuff and cool stuff is at. So and so that it gets this perception that, oh, it's the same old stuff. There's nothing new. Yeah, well, if you're talking about Colt and Sig and Glock, and I mean, a lot of times that's the case. There's not anything new. There really isn't.
Yeah. Anybody here interested to see what Glock does for the memorial for Gaston? They have so many different ways it could be cool, but surely they're going to do something, won't they? You got to think they're going to do something for them.
I don't know.
They're going to release the AR
because it just happened. I don't know. I mean, and they're so big. I don't know that they could do like that'd be logistically a really big challenge.
You could print a banner that would go over a booth wall.
And that's probably what they'll have. They'll probably have a picture of him with a wreath or something. Or I thought it would be kind of cool is if Glock did like a big white banner that says, and asked everyone to come in the booth, they could sign it. That would be kind of something real. Everyone write their own message to Gaston and take it back to headquarters. But probably a picture with a wreath and, in memoriam. But, man, we talked about what could be coming down the road with that happening. Man,
I really like what. Sadly, I don't think Glock will pull the POF. I really love where POF leaned into when we lost Frank. They really leaned into all of that. It was amazing. I mean, to this day, you go to a show and there's Frank and there's it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. I saw something G23 says, what would be the biggest surprise of a company not showing out without notification? So at this point, I mean, we know who's going to be there, who's not. I remember in 2022, which by the far was the greatest SHOT Show in the history of SHOT Shows that I know of.
It was dead. SHOT Show's over.
SHOT Show's over. It's dead. But there were companies that didn't show up for obvious reasons. And some of those companies have decided not to come back, and that's okay. But at this point, there's usually not a last minute, hey, we're not showing up without notification. Because someone's going to leak it, and there's going to be a press release about it somewhere, somehow. By this time, there's really no surprise of who's not going to be there and who's going to be there. Go ahead.
So I think every year that we've been together a lot of those times and seen the empty booths.
Yeah.
But I think it never fails, and we're talking smaller companies because we're talking the Dungeon small booth. It never fails that there's at least one company that's on my list, and it's a company I've never heard of a lot of times or whatever, that there's always seems like there's always an empty booth. I mean, that's at least one. That's a constant. You're like, dang, I was looking forward to seeing them or whatever. But you don't know, as you said earlier, some of those companies in the Dungeon there's like 3 people in the company. Well, they get the croup, or and they're screwed, right? Like they don't have a different crew they can commission and send out, or if they have a shipping logistics problem.
They can't hire the guns for the week just to come in and stand in the booth and talk.
No,
I mean,
exactly.
A lot of companies do that. They hire talent just for the week, and that's okay.
Like the planets have to literally align. Everything has to go their way, or they're screwed.
Or if there's bad weather, and it's January, folks, there could be bad weather. They just couldn't get there. Kurt, John, Kyle, I want to bring you guys in on this one and ask. I don't want you to go into dollar amounts because that's not fair for anybody. But I don't think people quite understand the capital investment, not just for the booth space, but now you're also talking travel, hotel, food. If you throw a party, how much that takes to build your booth ahead of time, shipping and all of that. There are companies that will spend 7 figures on SHOT just in the week. How much for you guys in a company sense? How much? It's not a fair question. Do you guys set aside a specific budget for SHOT? Or is it one of those where you kind of know what it's going to cost, but you really don't? You don't know what that final number is.
I would say that you definitely set a budget for it. A lot of times you end up with some last minute things, so it's not uncommon for it to go over. Nothing crazy, but I mean, in terms of what that expenditure is, like we kind of made the joke. Here's a way to answer the question without answering the question. Like when I was at Faxon, I'm like, I think SIG spent more on just the guns that they had in their booth than we had for our entire budget for shop. But it's economies of scale, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So
sure.
you work with what you have.
But that's crazy to think about, right? I mean, that's crazy to think about. Is you have some people that $10,000 is a ton of money for someone to spend on a booth in the dungeon, and then you hear someone else spending $140,000 just for the real estate before they even put a structure up in their booth.
Right.
$140,000 just for the real estate, and that's before electricity, before carpet. Because by the way, guys, all of that's extra. All of that you get per foot, and then if you want carpet, it's extra. If you want electricity, it's extra. It's crazy. G-Webs has a great question I want to bring up. And G says, as an exhibitor, what could a content creator do during the week to assist you? That's a great question. Kyle, Kurt, John, I'll let you guys answer this one, obviously.
I think a content creator, as far as like assisting, I think the obvious answer is the content.
Sure.
Getting the content out, getting our message out to maybe an audience who hasn't heard it before. That would be the most important. But just going off my personal experience, seeing you, Ghost, and Clover help out at EAA and stuff like that, like you guys are.
Well, you're also talking about, once again,
kind, but
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are like that, but we're talking about, friends and Clover, and we've all alluded throughout this whole podcast is the difference between a working relationship and actual being friends, right? And when you foster a relationship for years and years and you become friends with each other, and a friend calls and say, hey, we had something happen. Do you guys mind coming this afternoon to help us put the booth together? There's not even a question. It's like, absolutely. What time do you want us there? And that's kind of when you know that you've reached that point in your relationship, is when they're asking you to move, basically, you don't ask everybody in your friendship to move, but when you're asking, hey, but yeah, I think that's a big thing. And why wouldn't we? I mean, I think that we've talked about this before. You guys rely on us on certain things, and we rely on you guys on certain things. And there's got to be this back and forth relationship, but there's got to be some genuine friendships involved in it too. And I think that that's the great thing about our industry and our community is very small. It seems like it's huge, but it's a very small community. And there has to be the friendships that evolve in this. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
I will say it could be the small things. As marketing people, we are stuck in the booth probably for anywhere between 8 to 10 hours a day. Every day, not able to leave the booth.
You guys don't get to see SHOT Show.
Yeah. So like the small things for me, and I guess I could call myself a whore for this, but also like bringing over some cool patches or a water, the bottle of water, or a drink, or coffee, or a snack, or our friend Alex, Kurt and I's friend Alex, put on LinkedIn, who works for GOC, put on LinkedIn the other day going, hey, anybody at SHOT Show who is a friend of mine who wants to take 5-10 minutes to get away from the booth, let's go grab coffee, let's go grab a drink, let me get you escape. The amount of response he's gotten from that has been crazy. He's getting people who he hasn't talked to in 5 years reaching out going, hey, I'd love to get 5 minutes away from the booth. Let's go grab a cup of coffee or grab some. Just that, like, 5 minutes of relaxation / uncraziness / humanity can go a long way to boost somebody's morale, because they could have, you could be going from a really good meeting to somebody who's been hovering around your booth for 35 minutes trying to get a hold of you, and you're trying to shoo them away and they're not getting the hint. So
I mean, this is going to sound crazy, and by no means am I saying anyone should take it up. I'm not saying anything. Some of the best conversations, some of the best meetings I've had, and I think Clover can attest to this, have happened in the smoking section outside, whether it's downstairs by the dungeon or at the beer garden. But more importantly, I can't count how many. I know Clover's been the same thing. I can't count how many people that are industry people that say, "Hey, when are you going to smoke? Hey, shoot me a text when you go smoke next. I need to go smoke." And it's boom, let's go take 5 minutes and go outside and smoke. Whether they smoke or not, sometimes they just want to get out in the air, right? Like you said, they want to get away from the booth and all of that. So for me, I agree with what you're saying is give them a reason and go get a coffee or a soda or a smoke or a bottle of water. Hey,
or just to hide.
Hey, I'm going to the restroom. Like, you want to go walk around for a few minutes, get out of the booth.
Hey, let's go in the office. How many times have we heard that?
I know, Kyle, you guys got to have like 3 people in the booth, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. And that's not a lot at all. And I told you the other day, man, hey, I don't work for you guys, but I know enough about your products that I can be dangerous. If you need to go use the restroom or you need to go do something, you just want to get out of the booth, let me know. I'll come stand in the Anderson booth for a few minutes. And you may not want that. I might tear down the company altogether. But I mean, that's just something like John said. Sometimes just getting you guys a break is something we can do for you. Kurt, do you have anything you want to add on this before I go to Clover?
No, I was just going to say that I think, you kind of hit on it before, but I think one of the things that I appreciate most about the firearms industry as a whole, it's that camaraderie. It seems, like you said, it seems big, but it's not, and to be able to catch up with folks and, because sometimes people move around or just, it is to get the fist bump or the hug or whatever. It's a big deal and it matters. And, because it's neat to see that even though you have a lot of different companies and a lot of times you'll be talking with technically competitors, but we're all working toward the same thing, for the 2A community. And so because of that, I just think that aspect of it is really unique. And what the other thing I appreciate about it, for the most part, everybody's genuine. You can get a whole lot done on a handshake. And that doesn't happen in a lot of places.
This is one of, I'm not saying other industries aren't like this, but I think this is one of the few industries and communities that a handshake and a word still means something. And I don't need a contract. I don't need a contract from anyone. I don't need a signature on something. If I talk to Kyle and Kyle says done deal, it's a done deal. I don't have to worry about that. And Kurt, John, Chris, if anyone says, I say, hey, let's work something out. And I hope that's the same way. If I tell someone, hey, done deal, unless you legally have to have a signature. Yeah, you're right, Kurt. I think a handshake and a good word for someone goes a long way in our community, in our industry, which is really, really cool. Clover, I know you said you had something you wanted to bring up before.
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. I just on the I've seen Matt was unmuting, so I'm gonna let him go if he's got something. Yeah. But real quick though, on what you're talking about, dang it, real quick, and then my train of thought. What were we just talking about?
Just now?
Yeah.
We were talking about
contracts. We were talking about
contracts and handshakes and word. And
sometimes you have companies that change things on you, situations, and whatever changes.
It happens.
Which things happen, and that's where having good communication and all comes into play as well.
Yeah, you've had to come up with a company that's kind of changing directions, and
that was not in the agreed upon. That was not in the agreed upon meeting.
What was it forecasted to happen?
Right. But yeah, Matt can go, and then I'll come in.
Yeah, go for it, Matt.
No, it wasn't a big deal. I was just going to make a joke about if you hear rumors about a Pony Express, it's because Ghost was manning the Anderson table.
I promise you, boy, if I'm manning the Anderson booth, I'm going to have to go steal a coach gun from someone and just throw it in the Anderson booth and say, "This is the new Pony Express 2024," and force your hand. At that point, it's out there. You're going to have to come up with it, Kyle. I'm just saying.
So just ask everybody what they think of it, and it'll totally work.
And what the answer is going to be. Hell yeah.
If you asked me to help Kyle, I would 100% help. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, as far as having something good to say about the Kiger 9C Pro, I just don't know if I can come up with anything.
It's not a very good gun.
I don't know. I just don't.
Now, for the people out there that aren't listening, that's a lie. It's one of the best guns I've ever shot.
That was sarcasm. Absolute sarcasm.
Yeah.
No,
Great guy.
Ginger mentioned earlier when he mentioned bringing water by the booth, and I got to thinking, oh crap, I've got no candy. Like, oh man, I got my candy. I gotta.
Yeah, but there's places along the trip that you can make that you're going to
I
stop.
know, but I
jelly
wasn't. I
beans and
wasn't
everything
even thinking about it until Ginger said that, and I'm like, oh crap, we got to do that. Talking about the smoking area. So
Yeah.
the first year, that is what honestly made me realize this is, and for some people maybe not, but I'm speaking from my perspective here, of
Sure.
course. That's what made me realize the networking, the contacts, the relationships is where it was at. I got more out of the conversations and everything in the smoking area the first year than I did. And again, I was doing videos on the floor, right? That's
Yeah.
I was focused on the content, on the videos. The smoking area, I was just chilling,
Taking a
smoking,
break.
having conversations with
Taking a
people.
break. Yeah.
And that's what made me realize I need to have more of the smoking area conversations on the show floor.
You know, the interesting thing is, you and I have met CEOs / owners / presidents of companies that probably wouldn't have had as ease of access to if it wasn't for running into them and smoking outside and start joking. Then you realize who they are. You're like, it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know if I would, especially when we were first starting out. We didn't know anybody that are higher ups in some of these bigger companies. Next thing you know, we're smoking next to people and we're like, I've got an in with the CEO of XYZ company that I'm probably not supposed to know at this point, all because he bummed a lighter from me. So it's interesting. We joke about the smoking thing, but here's the thing: between the smoking and Kurt, Kyle, and everyone else, and John, the after parties, the after events, people don't realize how important those are. For no other reason, you get to be around people not in work mode. Like, you guys are tired as hell from being on your feet for 8 or 10 hours talking the same speech. We're tired of being on our feet for 8 or 10 hours talking the same speech and all that. We finally get away from shot. We go to an event and relax, have a drink or whatever, but relax. And that's when the real conversations happen. Because at that point, you're no longer working. You're just two guys talking at a bar or a restaurant. And I think that people don't understand that the after events, they're fun. They are fun, but they're not fun because you're getting hammered. They're fun because that's where you actually start cultivating those relationships and those friendships. So
sometimes
how important
that happens on a porch or around a fire pit too.
This is true, right, Kyle? Yeah, exactly. But no, that's very, very true. But for Kurt, John, Kyle, how important from the industry side, whether it's yours or just going to other places, how important are the after events? Because I think that that's something that doesn't get talked about. It gets talked about, but in a weird, hey, party guy. But there's a lot of business that happens in these events as well. How important are they for you guys?
2 words: circle bar.
Circle bar.
Yeah,
exactly.
More gets done there. To your point, more gets done there, honestly, a lot of times than you'll find on the floor. And that's what I was kind of saying. Like, our day is like 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. or later.
Or later, yeah, 1 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Easily.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you're networking, and it's an opportunity to meet folks and actually build a real relationship, not just kind of a business relationship.
Yep.
You meet more people. You meet more people that you wouldn't meet outside of actually walking the show floor, and get meetings. Surprisingly, more meetings. Even like Kurt and I walked up to a booth. I can't remember what year it was, and the guy wouldn't give us the time of day, so we went and walked somewhere. I ran into him at Circle Bar, and we got to talking and actually chatting. And then he's like, "Oh, swing by tomorrow. We'll sit down and actually talk." Like,
right.
You'd be surprised how many times that happens because they're in such work mode, and now they're like, "Hey, you're actually a really cool guy." So,
well, there's a lot of people that I know that would consider me a douchebag asshole. But I'm not saying I'm not those things, but I think that once you see someone in a booth and you're like, who the hell is this guy? And then you see him at the Circle Bar, you see him at a party or an event, and you start talking to him, you're like, you know what? My first impression was completely wrong about you. And same thing for us being a creator. Dude, that dude over there, that marketing guy for that company is an asshole. And then you start talking to him at an event, like, you know what? He's probably just as tired as I was, and he had a bad day, and you start talking to him, hey, he's a pretty cool guy. It is amazing how relationship can start out where you thinking something completely different about someone. You get around them in a social environment and say, we have a lot more in common than I thought we did. That's a pretty cool thing. Like Kyle, Kyle, God bless him. I talked to him into going to the Marine party last year, and I don't know if he'll ever be the same again. But it was cool to get Kyle to come to an event. Obviously he's a Marine, so he deserved to be there. But I don't know. Were you planning on going to the Marine party if without that?
No,
that's an awesome thing, man.
And I think a lot of it too goes to Jacob S. said it a long time ago in the comments. He gets nervous like doing the face-to-face stuff.
Yep.
People tend to be a lot more relaxed at the Circle Bar or any of the after shot events. Shot after dark.
Absolutely. Shot after dark. That's a great thing. They're putting a lot of time, effort, and money into NSSF sponsored events at night. Any of you guys plan on attending any of those?
I actually
I tend to wait till last minute to sign up for those just to see what my schedule is going to look like. Because all the way up to shot or leaving for shot, I'm open for like appointments and all that. So
yeah,
it's hard to work those in, at least from our perspective on the industry side. But the ones I can fit in, I'm gonna make it happen because I want to make the most of it out there. So.
Yeah, we're lucky, blessed, whatever you want to call it, enough to not really have any free evenings to speak of. Everything's pretty jam packed at this point.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make. Is it fills up very quickly, and especially in the evenings. You have to be very selective about who you're going to.
There are some nights we've got 2 or 3 different things we got to hit at. It's like, okay, we're going to spend 45 minutes here, an hour here, a half an hour, and let's get home before 1. Because it's not good. You say I'm going to be there for half an hour, it's going to turn into 2.5 hours, right? That's just the way it is.
And then last year at SHOT, my former first sergeant was working at, I think, Milo, the shoot trap guys.
Yeah.
So we linked.
Are you serious? I didn't know this.
Yeah, we linked up, and he's coming to the Marine party this year, I think.
Fantastic.
But we linked up and had dinner. Like spontaneous meetings like that too can happen.
That SHOT show, in essence, right there, it's you go there with a plan, but you got to be ready for anything and literally everything can happen. Matt, I'm going to bring you in real quick. After events, you plan on going to a bunch of them, or what's your thought on the after events?
No, I haven't thought about them. I don't know of any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
we'll be talking. There's several every night. Depends on and what Kurt brought up. The great thing about the Circle Bar is if you don't know of any events and you go hang out for half an hour to Circle Bar, chances are you're going to find out about 3 or 4 of them. So you'll have those. But yeah, we'll talk after this show's over and the after chat and all that.
My plan is just like everybody's been talking about, like just networking. Yeah. Like creating content is like the 3rd, 4th, maybe 10th thing on my list of important to do. Right. If I take a camera other than my cell phone into there, it'll be only because I talked to somebody the night before who said, like you said, come by the booth.
Yep.
So we can do it, because I'll have my tripods, microphones, camera, and all that shit, but that'll stay in my hotel room unless
you need it.
Yeah.
Well, you can also, there's also a bag check there.
There is in the media room.
You can bag check that stuff next to the media room, and then you don't have to go all the way.
You can mostly trust people there. I've never had anything stolen. I've hired people, but for the most part, I've never heard anything being stolen.
My intention.
You've also got some friends, so if you want to stow some stuff at somebody's booth,
that's a great point.
That's what we do. Is we store our stuff at booths, and that sounds bad, but yeah, that's a lot easier than carrying around.
But you can keep it on the floor or somewhere close, is what I'm saying, and you don't have to necessarily wait till the next day. You can say, "I'll be back by here in an hour or 2 or whatever." Go ahead and knock it out. Because who knows what's going to happen between then and the next day, right?
You might miss.
Oh,
You
yeah.
might meet 2 more people
Right.
in the next hour.
Right.
You know.
Sure, yeah, that's because I was taking the approach of sort of like I did Gun Con, where I took video of like whatever the companies had there. Of course, I talked to them and all that stuff, but it wasn't like in an interview format or on video. You know, I just did the networking relationship stuff with them. Would video their booth, get some close-ups of stuff, some still pictures of stuff, and then I did a big video of here's who was there, here's who here was my favorite pieces, here was my favorite products. That was my intention for content.
Absolutely. We got about 10 minutes left in this bad boy. I want to go run through the room real quick. We're not going to do our plugs yet. We'll come after this, but we're going to run through the room real quick and ask everybody, what's the one thing that you're looking most forward to in SHOT? That's fair of everybody. So Chris, bring you in, whether it's a product, what is it? What are you most looking forward to for the week of SHOT? Which, by the way, is the best week of the year, in my opinion. Just saying.
For me this year, it'll be the after SHOT stuff. I've got some dinners planned and things like that. So really looking forward to it.
We're trying to get one done for another night, Kyle. We're going to try to work on it. We'll talk about it in the after chat as well. Kyle, for you, is there anything besides working your ass off? What are you looking, if you were looking forward to anything at SHOT, what would it be?
Not to sound cliche here, guys, so don't ding me on that. But I'm still a young buck at SHOT. The thing that means the most to me is seeing our end user, getting to actually talk to customers. We never get to interact. And this goes for creators too, like you, Clover, and all them guys. Dude, just being able to interact with the end user of our product and get like real boots from the ground feedback, what they like, what they don't like, all that stuff. You hear a lot of crazy stuff, but all of it counts, man. And it's just an awesome experience and opportunity. So
I should have asked this before. Kurt, from the industry side, do you like SHOT or do you hate SHOT?
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly,
that's a fair answer. That's a fair answer.
It's a lot. It's fun. It's great to catch up with folks. It's great to talk, like you said, with the end user and customers and that kind of thing. But at the same time, especially, from the marketing standpoint and having to do all the logistics to make sure that everything is there and everything runs smoothly, it's a long week.
Yep. Yeah, people don't realize that SHOT Show falls under probably most marketing teams. So the entire planning of SHOT Show, including if you guys take, as I'm sure most companies, you take out vendors, you take distributors, you take different people out to dinners. A lot of that falls under the marketing team because this is all a marketing thing. So you got to plan out which restaurants you're going to go to, how many people. Hey, we got to get a table of 20 at this restaurant on a Tuesday night at SHOT Show. Good luck, all that stuff. So the logistics of SHOT, I understand that. Kyle, we'll go back to you real quick. Love or hate SHOT so far?
Love.
Okay. All right. I'm sure you'll change over the years.
I'm sure everybody I talk to that has been like 5 years plus. Yeah.
I love it. But I'm not industry guy, but there are people that are creators that no longer go. They talk so much smack about SHOT. To me, as far as this part of my life, the gun part of my life, best week of the year. I can't wait for it every year. That's just me. Ginger, hater love SHOT, and what's the biggest thing that you're looking most forward to?
Yes, I'm with Kurt. It's the same thing. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's one of those things where I'm excited for every time I get to go. So what I'm looking forward to is just seeing everybody getting out, because I'm at a new company than I was the last time I was at SHOT. It's just getting out and talking to more people that know me, setting things up that way. And the other thing is because we're also a new channel, kind of letting people know, hey, by the way, we're also we got this channel up and running, and which is a little bit easier because I've built relationships with most of these people from the marketing side. Now it's just kind of like, hey, by the way, we're doing this thing.
By the way, yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little bit
you and Kurt have been doing this long enough that if one of you doesn't know someone, I'm sure the other one probably does, which is a positive thing. Now, real quick, Kyle, G23 starting to start some trouble out there. He's starting a new hashtag 10mm Kiger 2025. There you go. I'd be down for that. As long as it's not 40, I'm good. You know. So
there you go, Kyle. You got 2 projects for next show for August, and then next show. You already started
3. He's got 3.
Oh yeah.
Well, don't forget my slapstick accessory.
Oh, that's right. He wants a slap. So there you go. Yeah. He wants the MP5 slap for something on the line. Make that happen. Maybe like the AM9 has like a little slap handle on it.
You know what, Clover? I think we can put that right next to the AR grip safety.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Which nobody wants. So that's what it is. Matt, bring you in real quick. Being it's your first SHOT Show, obviously not your, like you said, it's not your first show, but first SHOT Show. Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to doing or seeing or happening?
All of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair answer.
That's the correct answer. Right.
That's the correct answer. Embrace it all, but embrace the suck, you know?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously size difference and all that of other things I've attended, but not knowing the facilities, not knowing 99.9% of the companies that are going to be there, or I should say not knowing anybody from those companies. Yeah, just from beginning to end, I don't drink, so the evenings are going to be pretty tame for me.
Oh, you can have a lot of fun in Vegas without drinking, my friend.
Oh, you can watch. Sure. You can watch people drink. You can watch them. Oh, good.
But yeah, so I just really I hate to say it this way, but the experience of it.
That's a great answer. That might be the best answer of the night, though. The experience of SHOT is an experience. It is.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, my biggest purpose, goal, whatever you want to say, is really to get to know people, to talk to not just other creators if the opportunity arises, but people from companies. Like I look forward to meeting Kyle in person. When that gets to happen, and then I have six or seven, five. No, I have 6 meetings scheduled throughout the week with different companies thus far. And I'm taking, I did nothing on Wednesday, so everything's on Tuesday or Thursday for me. And so Wednesday and Friday, I have
Tuesday's the day that you should take off. From my experience, the first day is crazy, and you don't want to. I did it to the reason I'm saying is I did it to myself. I think I had 7 or 8 interviews the first day alone, and I did not give myself time to acclimate to SHOT. Like I said, it's your thing.
Well, there's only one on Tuesday.
Oh, that's not bad then.
Yeah,
okay.
On Thursday.
Yeah. I bet the Uber drivers make bank during SHOT. Scott says it's every week, bro. Because here's the thing. Almost every industry in America has a convention in Vegas. Do you think that all those hotels are built for the gamblers that just come through Vegas? All of those hotels, because Vegas is convention center in this country. Now, the week that I think SHOT's like the 3rd or 4th biggest convention in Vegas. That's the 8th overall in the country. But in Vegas, like it's in the top 5, and they have with the concrete. Is it the concrete? Is also, and it's like number 2, and they're the same, they're different parts, but it's the same week. So you have 2 of the top 5 conventions in Vegas going on at the same time. So yeah, Uber drivers do pretty well during the week in Vegas, and they do pretty well every week, I'm assuming.
If I could give Matt any advice real quick,
Yeah.
Kurt brought it up. Kyle, Kyle brought it up too. Talking about wasting of time and the right people. Make sure when you go to a booth, ask for the marketing people. Ask for
100%.
Yes. You can ask to the salesman or the hired gun for the week. Yeah.
You could be running into a rep group guy. You could be running into a sales guy. They will listen to your ear. They'll talk your ear off because they think you're buying, even though your badge says media. They'll talk your ear off because they think you're buying. So try to get that marketing guy. And if they're busy or they can come, you can come back later. Come back later. Go somewhere else. Don't hover. Don't waste time sitting there waiting.
Don't hover.
Don't hover. Like the other thing I will give advice to anybody who's new to SHOT. If you see a friend like Kyle, and Kyle's in the middle of a meeting and talking to somebody, don't interrupt it. Just walk by, give him the head nod, give him the
fist bump. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
keep on moving. Don't be a stalker outside of a conversation. Just roll on by and just say your hellos and keep going.
That's a great point. Real quick, I'm going to bring up John. Ask you, Kyle, and Kurt. For the content creators to come in and they're specifically asking for the marketing guy, is that something you want them to do? Or, I mean, would you rather them talk to you or have them contact you a week or two later? Like, would you want to talk to them in person?
I would definitely say, yeah, I want to talk to them in person, especially if it's a first introduction, because nothing beats talking to someone in person and looking them in the eye, you know?
Yeah.
You will get a lot more done a lot faster. The thing that I was going to add is it's a lot, but do your homework. You know, it's one thing to go, hey, I want to talk to the marketing guy. It's another thing to go, hey, I want to talk to John or Kurt, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had content creators come up to me and be like, I don't know anything about your company. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Why are you here? So again, there's obviously a lot. So, but if you have a list of, you know, the companies that you are interested in, again, you're going to walk through and you're going to find something cool here and there. Absolutely. Yeah. But that was the other thing I would say kind of about the dungeon is that you're right. That's where you're going to find those hidden gems, but they're intermixed with a whole lot of not trash gems.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it amazes me how many, and God love them, but the number of guys who are like, oh, I'm going to start up an AR company. I'm like, are you doing anything?
And I'm going to sell a $2,000 AR. Okay, there's 1,000 of those companies out there. They're already here.
And are you doing anything different? No. Are you sourcing parts different than anyone else? No. Nope. You know, and again, I
got a cool name for it.
Yeah. But again, like as a content creator, you're like, there's no angle here. Like, what am I going to say? So, again, so be as deliberate as you can. In everything that you do.
I want to follow up on that with Kurt and Kyle and John. So if a content creator walks in, you've never met this person, I ask for the media marketing. It's one of you three guys.
And he's wearing a football jersey and sweatpants. Just saying.
Depends on what kind of football jersey, right? Because if you wear a real team, you could tick somebody off. But when you've Ray Finkel or Bobby Boucher, come on. Anyway,
go Mud Dogs.
So go Mud Dogs. So remember when the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl? Do you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take it down as a weird road.
Yeah, you did. Anyway, what was I saying? I had a serious question. Idea. Oh, okay. So a creator walks into the booth. They ask for the marketing. It's one of you guys. You never met this person. Is there any? How do I rephrase this? Or how do I phrase this? Does it matter, like, if they come in with hey, here's the introduction, kind of here's what I do, slight thing about here's what I can offer you guys, you know, as far as doing reviews and video, written, whatever it might be, and other things, and exchange business cards, and hey, let's touch base in a week or two, versus spending a lot more time there talking. Does anyone weigh any different to you, one than the other necessarily? And I mean, obviously there's going to be chemistry with some people that walk in, right? I mean, I think we're all kind of that way where we're all friends. So there was obviously some type of chemistry there with us guys, but do they really weigh any different if somebody is more like the creator comes in and do you recognize?
Are you saying is it better to talk business or just
what I'm saying,
bullshit, basically?
No, I guess what I'm saying is, do you guys recognize when a creator comes in and they're valuing your time? In other words, I want to make that connection. I'm interested in working with the products and the company and all this, but I know that you're busy and you have all these irons in the fire and all these things to do. Here's my card. it's not a big, long, drawn out conversation, and then that creator's gone, and then they follow up in a couple of weeks. Do you guys recognize that?
I try before I let them answer. I say my whole thing is I've got my 2 minute in my mind, whether I have 2 minutes or more, whatever. In my mind, I go there. I've got 2 minutes to talk, whether it's a pitch, whether it's just saying hi or whatever. And being a creator, also, you need to be able to read people, and you should be able to read whether there is a connection, whether there's chemistry, whether that person is wanting to spend more than 2 minutes or he's trying to escort you away. Be able to understand that. As a creator, if you're trying to get to a shot for the first time, or you're thinking about going, or you're going to any business type situation, any show, be able to read people. If you can't read people, learn how to read people. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, no, that was my biggest thing. I was going to say, read the room. But to answer your question directly, I think it depends.
Right.
My biggest thing is be professional and come in with a purpose and a goal. Like I've had even folks with big channels, they'll come in and be like, yeah, well, I was thinking we could kind of sort of do a thing with the junk. And I'm like, that doesn't.
I can kind of sort of say no,
Yeah, right. Whereas I've had other people who, again, they've had really small channels, but they came in, they said, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. They know your product. Hey, right. I've seen this, or I've been interested. Right. I think it would be great if we did some content on ABC.
And here's why.
It's in the details and the specifics. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Because then what you're doing is in this is kind of what I always did, just from kind of a sales marketing standpoint, right? I start solving the problem before we've even agreed on anything, So if we're like, hey, here's the kind of content we could do, or I think you know what I mean? Now we're working together, even though we're not. Because what that shows is, hey, I what you're doing. And the other thing I was going to say is, the discussion about whether you should, video content during shot versus just doing networking. Again, I think it's read the room and know the company. If it's a smaller company, they're going to value that video, right? And the other thing that video does is you're basically showing them your work process. You're showing them what you do, right? So you don't have to just sell yourself because you're already doing it.
You can show them that you're
showing
professional.
it, not just saying it. Yeah. So I think that it does. It depends on the company. And again, it might be a thing where, hey, this guy's super busy, or, you wrote in right before he's got like a really big scheduled meeting with somebody. You know what I mean? You don't know. But again, kind of keep your head on a swivel, read those kind of cues. If you see some guy keep kind of side-eyeing, or he's going, hey, hang on. No, right? And again, like
we've seen
take
that.
a long view, and it works. Yeah.
Ghost, you were making fun a little bit, and that's fine and understandable.
I make fun of a lot of things.
You're gonna have some crazy outfits, no doubt. But just real quick, because that was a conversation earlier today that you and I were a part of, had to do with wardrobe.
We were making fun. I think being remembered is just as important as being.
Where is the line for the industry? Again, Kyle, John, Kurt. Where's the line on wardrobe? I mean, do you recognize when somebody is being interesting like Ghost would with his non-matching everything, or me with my football jersey?
Tie-dye with
does that matter?
And pink shoes,
Or is that the same as a dirty shirt, a dirty pair of pants, or where does the line? Where's the line?
I just don't. I personally, before we go, that the reason why I did that is the reason why, and is the reason why you're doing the same thing that you're doing with football. I'm tired of looking the 5'11" grunt style guy. Like there's 75,000 5'11" and grunt style t-shirts. So I wear pink shoes, plaid pants, and a tie-dyed shirt. Why? Because I don't give a shit, and I think it's fun. But yeah, I understand. Is that valued, or do you look at me and say, I'm not working with that fool?
I think it's valued. I mean, for one, it makes you stand out. And two, we're talking about creators. What better way to show your creativity? I just shows it without saying a word.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's a good point. There are people that look at me and Clover and go, and that's okay. That's okay. They look at us like that way anyway. So it's all good. But no, I think there is value to that. Like I said, I'd rather be remembered. And that's one of the reasons why Clover and I and some of us started dressing a little bit differently for shows, is maybe that is some way if you're meeting, as Kurt says, we're meeting 60 people a day, having 60 conversations. What's going to make me stick out from those other 59? Maybe it's because I'm wearing plaid pants and a pink polka dot shirt or something,
And to think it all basically started a year ago now with a red pair of shoes.
A red pair of shoes, yeah, because your shoes blew out the first day of shot. Yeah. And that's true. Snob says that they look at Ghost. He's a fool. I am a fool, and that's okay. That's what it is. But I'm a fool that has fun in life, and I'm a little bit of a smart ass, and I enjoy expressing my personality and expressing myself through colorful clothes. All right, real quick, let's run through. Chris, want to bring in, thank you, brother, for coming. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Hopefully you're feeling better in the next 10 days because shit's getting ready to get real. Tell people what projects you've got going on, where they can find you, anything that you want to plug while you're doing it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a great show. I'll release the SAR 9 SOCOM review video today. And Thursday night we will be doing the live show over on my chat at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I think pretty much everybody that's on the panel here tonight got invited. I think we got room. If Kurt wants to come on, we'll get Kurt on. So thanks again, Ghost. I appreciate you.
Anytime, brother. Hope you feel better, and I'll see you next week for show. Kyle, my brother. Can't wait to see you again as well. Anything that you can spill the beans on with Anderson or prelude to? Just saying. I wouldn't mind you doing that on this platform.
I'm going to hold on to the product side.
I know,
but, come to booth 14752. 14752. We'll have like some new patches, new stickers, and a nice promo code, SHOT Show exclusive. So, and some new products that I don't want to speak on right now. But I'm excited, pumped.
We're going to show up, and there's going to be a coach gun in your booth, and we're all going to literally shit ourselves.
John would kill me.
He won't kill you as long as he gets serial number 1. He doesn't care,
Nah, I think he wants it August. I think he'd be upset about the.
Oh, you're right. He wants, but we can't talk about that right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Secret squirrel stuff.
Secret squirrel. I can't speak. I'm dumb. I'll see you in about 10-ish days or so for sure. Matt, thanks for coming on, man. Tell people that are in my audience that may not know who you are and all that. Tell people a little about yourself, your channel, and what projects you might have going on right now.
Okay. So first, thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
It was informative for SHOT Show stuff, especially. And I found out that I'm the only one that likes spaghetti. Outside of that,
we all love spaghetti, just not more than tacos.
just ain't picking it over a taco. That's right.
I also found out that you can fry spaghetti, which I still think is very
totally
strange.
Wrong. Yeah.
So my name's Matt. I run the RTT Guns and Gear channel, do gun gear reviews, some training videos. It's my first time going to SHOT this year. Things I have coming up are a couple scope reviews for Arkin, handful of other stuff. Holster, Arizona Holster Company, that Superstition Concealment. So there's just a bunch of little projects, in the works right now. Adding some shotgun content that I'm not going to talk about right now, but very busy.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for showing up, Steve. Like, you're only 2 hours and 13 minutes late, just saying. Good job. Thanks for coming on, Matt. I appreciate you. And like I said, you're more than welcome to come on anytime. Let me know, and I'll send you a link every week. You don't have to come on, but if you want to come on with it, man. And I'll look forward to meeting you in person in a couple weeks here for sure. Ginger, I'm going to give you first a thing to do for the GOA, and then I'm going to let you and Kurt not only talk about the channel, but also talk about what's going on with the channel.
So GOA, we are. Oh, Chris left. So we are going to be at SHOT. We're going to have an exclusive patch of the day. So go check out our booth every single day to get an exclusive patch. We'll also have the state of the second patches available too. So that is our.
You didn't tell me you were going to have any of those. Those are going to be sweet.
Yeah, I just found out today that we're going to have those. So we're really excited about those. So we're going to have our own show patches there at the show. I will be walking around as well. So if you see me, I will have a plethora of patches in my backpack to hand out.
A plethora?
Plethora. I said I was going to take two.
Back in the 80s, there's a movie called The Three Amigos, John, and plethora was okay. I didn't know if you knew that one.
I told Kaylee today I was going to take 2 handfuls of patches with me every day, and she goes, "That's not enough. You need to take more." And I said, "Okay." Yes. So that's going on. Like I said, Stay the Second podcast dropping tomorrow with the CEO of Palmetto State Armory, Jamin. It's a great episode. He gets really into the history of Palmetto State Armory, why they bought H&R, talked about a number of different great topics. So
that not necessarily was the most popular thing that happened when they bought H&R. There's a lot of people that thought that was going to be the end of H&R. Let's be honest.
You'll have to listen.
I will listen tomorrow.
He will talk about that. He's very excited about that. So yeah, that's everything going on with GOA.
Well played, Snob. Well played. That's great.
So I have seen Three Amigos, and I do absolutely know what a plethora is. Okay. Unlike the dude that didn't. El Guapo did have a plethora for sure.
El Guapo did have a plethora, yes. Kurt and John, like I said, I want you to talk about the channel. And I know that you guys have 2 videos out with multiple. You probably got content probably for the next few months, I'm assuming. But talk about a little bit also like how this came about as well.
Sure. I talked before. Oh, there you go. No, I mean, John and I worked together, and we were doing some reviews prior. And now that, he's over at GOA and I'm over at TCRT, we were just kind of sitting around, drinking some bourbon and smoking some cigars and going, hey, you know what? It'd be fun to do, as if we weren't all busy enough. But no, so we just.
Bourbon and cigars never end up well. Sometimes you start a YouTube channel, just saying.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you start a YouTube channel. No, I mean, it is. It's been a lot of fun. John and I work great together. And no, I mean, honestly, for kind of literally starting from nothing, the traction that we've already gotten it's humbling, honestly. It's really nice to see. So, we're excited to do it, and we're excited to, put out some great content for folks. Yeah.
We just hit our 150th subscriber today. So that's a big, huge number there. But no, right. like Kurt said, the traction. I mean, I'm
going to say 150 subs in like what, a week or two?
It's two weeks. Yeah.
I mean, considering
we hit 5,000 views the other day total on the channel with 500 watch hours. So, like Kurt said, it's been very humbling and great.
It's easy to get 500 watch hours when all of your videos are an hour. I'm just saying.
You got to get people to watch.
Hey, man. It's either that or 3 million shorts or something. So.
Hey, I love them. I love the reviews, guys. Keep them coming.
Thank you, Kyle. We've got 2 coming for you soon, so we're working on those after SHOT Show.
Kyle doesn't mind a 45-minute Kiger video,
The other thing I will say, because Kurt won't say it, also go check out Kurt's overlanding channel, OTR Overlanding. He just launched a video yesterday on that, so go check. If you're into Jeep stuff and overlanding, go check out Kurt's other channel as well.
I'm not a Jeep guy, but I do enjoy the overlanding stuff. So
yeah, no, that's been a lot of fun. And it's just it's honestly, that's been neat just because I'm lucky my wife really likes to do that sort of thing too, which I know isn't terribly common. So yeah, we tend to get pretty remote. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So John and Kurt, obviously you're going to be at SHOT with your companies, but are you going to try to dedicate at least a little bit of time to do the FLR stuff, or are you going to be able to do that?
I say it's going to be hard. It's definitely on the mind. I will bring it up outside of GOA meetings once I'm done with companies that I already know and have established relationships with. Like I said earlier, with Kurt and I,
you guys know most everybody anyway. Yeah. So
with Kurt and I being in the industry so long, we know everybody. It was really funny and I guess humbling today. I got a phone call from Scott McGregor over at Mossberg, and he's like, "Hey, love the video." And I was like, "You saw that?" He goes, "Oh yeah, you guys did great." And so those kind of relationships that have been built over the year, it's been easier than I guess most people have start to. I mean, we've bought a lot of stuff.
You're starting from scratch, but you're not starting from scratch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's really, I guess, humbling, like Kurt said, that we've kind of really taken off a little bit, the views, the amount of people who are supporting us, both on the content creator side and on the industry side, who wants to see us succeed. It's been really great. Thanks to, and I shouted everybody out in our last video in the description. So again, thanks to Ghost and Clover and Chris and Matt and Snob and Big Kid and everybody else who has shouted us out and put us in their Instagram stories over the last month or 2 weeks. I really do appreciate the support and helping us grow as a channel, and we really are enjoying this endeavor as we are both working at separate companies. We still get to enjoy our friendship and hanging out and being ourselves.
Once again, it comes back to what you just said right there. It comes back to that. It comes back to the friendships and relationships. This whole thing, whether it's SHOT, the channels, it's all about relationships. And that is the most beautiful thing about our industry is a lot of really good people in our industry, right? In our community, a lot of wonderful human beings. And it's nice to be around SHOT and be around that. It's cool to, people talk about, oh my gosh, SHOT Show, like that's, oh my gosh, like there's gonna be 50,000 gun people. Yeah, it can be the safest building in the world for that week. I promise you, nothing's going to happen at SHOT Show. If it does, it'll be taken care of very quickly. But it's, it's just one of those things. I love SHOT. And like I said, the friendships, relationships, it's what it's all about. It's 100%. This is what it's all about.
I really
Bitch Boy.
Yeah. Because like John mentioned, because we both kind of came from the marketing side, and we already had a lot of these existing relationships with a number of different content creators, as soon as, they found out, hey, like we're going to kind of go down this road too, the amount of folks who just came out and offered help and advice and promotion, and it's been amazing. So, yeah. And I mean,
that kind of proves that you and John are pretty decent guys. I mean, like, there's a reason why a lot of people is people wouldn't do that if you were assholes. I mean, in all seriousness. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool thing,
Yep.
Clove, bring it home.
What? Bring it home.
What you got going on? If you were going to do content, if you were going to have projects, if you were going to do anything in this YouTube world, what could those things be?
Man, the next 2 weeks, week and a half, few days or something. We'll leave out Thursday or Friday of next week. It's going to be tough to do anything.
Especially with the weather. Yeah, this weather's not going to be good the next week.
Between the weather and I had a couple things I've really wanted to get done before SHOT. But man, I'm looking so forward to SHOT. Just the whole thing. You kind of skipped me on the what did I expect or whatever, but
did I really? Well, absolutely take the floor, man. Take the floor. What do you expect?
45. Well, Matt said it perfectly when he said everything. The trip out there for us is awesome. It's grueling, but it's awesome just to be able to do it. You know me, I like to drive, and we like to road trip. And so the trip there, the trip back, the 40 boxes of cereal every morning to get to see everybody, what you might
I'm looking
find.
forward to Hell's Kitchen, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Hell's Kitchen. Only been 3 years. We finally got a reservation at Hell's Kitchen, so we're going to go. So most are going to go and have fun at Hell's Kitchen.
You never know. The beautiful thing is you're running from point A to point B, and it's a reason that you got to remain fluid, which we've said that multiple times. But you're running to point A to point B, and especially in the dungeon, and you're going to turn a corner or something, and there's going to be some amazing product or something that's just freaking awesome that you run across. So,
yeah,
just looking forward to all that. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Speaking of products,
yeah, go for it.
Because we talked about the channel, Kurt should probably give a plug for his new company too, because we totally skipped that.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, that's actually this SHOT Show for me is going to be. I'm excited because it's kind of unique because the company for the U.S. kind of consumer market is relatively new, and so that's for me going to be kind of an interesting take. But it's cool. So TCRT targets, they're rubber targets. It's a proprietary rubber formulation. A lot of the other products on the market that you'll see, they're just kind of repurposing something that's already out there. This formulation was specifically made for ballistic applications, and they've been using this stuff on military bases and like shoot houses and for like LE ranges for a number of years.
Self-healing, I'm assuming. Self-healing.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll take 400 rounds of 5.56 per square inch and hold up.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So it basically it expands over like 800%. So when it's hit, it's legit. The thing is, we kind of hit on it a little bit, especially kind of in the firearms industry. There's a lot of sort of products that are sort of similar. There's not much differentiation, and from a marketing standpoint, honestly, sometimes you got to do a little bit of smoke and mirrors to kind of hype up something that's not that different. This product it's so easy to do my job, honestly, because it is so unique and it legitimately holds up. I mean, we've got targets. We just did a range day, so we had a torso target that took full auto 9mm and 45, shots. It's got thousands of rounds in this thing, and it's perfectly fine. It's still usable. The stand got shot up before the target did. So
yeah.
So it's a neat product, and it does. We've also got like a series of like target stands, and we purposely designed them. So one, they're really cost effective, but two, they're modular. So you can set up kind of like a rack stand setup or like a tree stand. But, with these brackets, you just go buy some 1x2s, which are, like $1 something at Home Depot. And then you can kind of quickly Lego these things together and make like whole courses of fire. And they're super light. They're easy to move around. It is. I just check it out. It's tcrt.com. Yeah.
There you go. Let me go over here and get this link. My gosh, I can't type. And
so the TCRT range systems, that's kind of our military law enforcement side.
Oh, okay.
And then TCRT.com is the consumer side of things. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Cool. Snob out there showing you some love. He says he loves his TCRT target. Just finished the video in the last week.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. Old Snobby doing some work for you. I don't know. That's a dangerous choice, but it's okay. As long as he didn't use the Altor, I think you're safe.
It's all good.
Yeah, maybe the Altor bring you some views. I don't know. But all right. Thanks everybody for watching this live. Obviously, everyone is watching this in replay and listen to it in podcast form. If you're out there and you're watching this replay or podcast form, the conversation does not have to stop. Go ahead and utilize the comment section. Let us know how shitty of a job we're doing. If you have any questions for any of our guests, go ahead and put them out there and we'll make sure they get it to them. More importantly, guys, if you're listening to this in podcasts or watching this replay, get over here on Tuesday nights at 7 Central and be part of the live show. So it's always fun. Thanks to Kyle, to Matt, to Ginger, to Kurt, to Chris, and to Clover, I guess. We'll thank Clover for showing up and being part of this roundtable, if you will, SHOT Show. Next week, we'll be talking probably SHOT Show, but more of, hey, last minute things, what we're getting ready to do, actually preparing to actually leave for SHOT and all of that. I know you guys probably get sick of talking SHOT Show. I can talk SHOT Show all year long, so it is what it is. More importantly, guys, get out to the range, be more proficient with your firearms. Make sure you're staying in tune with all the two-way legislation, whether it's at the local, state, or federal. Make sure that your elected representatives are doing their jobs. Real quick, thank you, Mandatory Carry, $6 super chat. You guys know that we don't ask for them, but all super chats go towards sending care package to our guys downrange. So thank you very, very much. Yeah, guys, stick around if you guys aren't on here a lot. Stick around for after chat for a few minutes. Probably got some stuff we can talk about. Anyways, make sure your elected representatives are doing their jobs. If not, guess what? 2024 is an election year, and we can take care of that shit right now and get people that are going to do what you ask to them and also have the same ideals and morals as you. More importantly, enjoy your freedoms of being an American, one of which is to keep and bear arms. We'll see you next week. Semper Fi.